everyone, welcome to the Lightbringers Podcast. It's Jebro, your host, speaking. I'm trying to talk loudly about words so that I can understand myself and not the distractions in Discord. But we got an amazing, awesome podcast ahead of us today. A podcast.
To the podcast.
So I was talking about something. Today we're going to be checking out some new weapons, and my camera is balked. Let me just sort that out. There we go. New weapons, because it's the beta tests. Yes, please, Boots. Definitely do that. Ooh. You don't? Yeah. Thank you, Boots. I appreciate you.
It's still open, though. It's still open.
Oh, okay. All right. It'll be fine. I'm sure.
I'm leaving it open a little bit because my dog is in a pile of pillows over here, and he might want to leave the room at some point, so.
Griff, you're like kneeling over a little bit. Are you okay there? I'm just trying to make sure your face is in the camera. Like, there you go. There you go. I can see you now.
Oh,
can you
I
please
can't move.
straighten up your posture?
Can you not move?
It was just because your face was in your pronouns. That's all. It's just like, you are your pronouns. You just are them. You have become them. Obviously. That's what they are. Rookies. I thought you were. I was like, that's me normally when I'm petting my cat, but then I was like realizing what you were doing.
Yeah, it was
very
a silly
good.
thing I was doing, a funny thing.
It was funny.
Yeah.
We're all funny today. We're all funny. Yeah, that's it. Just gonna big you up, all you peeps. Okay, chat. Hello. I hope you're all good. We're live to 1 p.m. Pacific-ish on a Friday afternoon here in the West Coast, at least. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're well and good, and you're watching this episode, maybe even recorded live. Who knows? Or just on YouTube or Spotify. If you Google the Lightbringers Podcast, you'll find us everywhere. That's what you'll do.
That.
And on Spotify as well.
I have Spotify now. I had a Spotify Wrapped recently.
Ooh.
We have the
there?
wrap for the Lightbringers, and I can give you stats another time, actually.
Okay, yeah, please.
I listened to 35 songs on Spotify this year.
That's it?
You're a bad
Yeah.
person.
Only 35?
I tend to just use YouTube.
Kroof also listened to 200,000 hours of music in just those 35 songs.
And just 35 songs.
Okay.
What can I say? I'm very particular about my musical taste.
Yeah.
You just like
Incredible,
35
incredible.
songs, yeah. That's not a lot. Yes, I know. She's meowing at me loud.
Welcome to our Spotify podcast, everybody. Welcome back to this episode 1.
Who were your top artists
Actually,
of the year? What genres did you like the most?
Mine was
No,
Phenomenal.
that's not a real-
Mine was
Did
bubblegum
you-
pop goth.
Bubble. Wow.
Bubble
Bubble.
gum.
Bubble gum. Bubble gum. Pop goth? Wait, is that all one thing? Or do you
said
go
pop.
with goth separate?
I mean, it's one thing. It's just connected with hyphens. So
So
Oh,
mine
okay.
is rock, then indie rock, then Quebec indie, then noise
Quebec
pop.
indie?
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's a thing?
And then noise pop, but I think it's just indie in Quebec. So, but the noise pop, and then Magical Mike pointed out that they don't know what noise pop is, and now that they mention it, neither do I. So I think there's just a few songs that are noise pop that I didn't really.
You are not going to believe this. I literally just did my Spotify wrap up, and it said that, like, literally, it was like, your favorite thing or the thing you listened to the most was the Guild Wars 2 End of Dragon soundtrack.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah, same. Because I.
Oh, is it because you use your Spotify
Like-
for your stream?
No, what? No, it's because I love the music of Guild Wars 2.
Oh,
I mean,
obviously.
yeah, I think that's why for me as well. But also, I do
I
like.
don't.
Wait, let me see.
I don't have Spotify Premium, so want a break from the ads? Yes, please. I don't want to pay though.
Oh, I have to log in. I can't be bothered. Okay. It
Wait,
says
do you
my.
all have Spotify Premium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a student as well, because when you're a student, it's like
Y'all have
$5.
Spot- Okay.
It's
alright.
not,
Oh,
not
yeah,
that
sorry, we're
much.
so bougie with our Spotify premium.
Wow,
Cruz,
y'all can
Cruz,
afford Spotify
Cruz,
Premium?
In my
Must be
teens,
nice.
in my teens, I used to spend like hundreds of pounds, like a week, a month, like on CDs. $10 or so a month on Spotify Premium is nothing.
Or
It's
you
nothing.
just go on YouTube and you let the YouTube mix decide your musical catalog for the day.
No. No, just
It's a
can't do it.
lo-fi girl. That's the
Yes,
title.
5 hour, 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
Second, I
good.
thought you were saying, Boots, that like your top musical genre was lo-fi girl. Like,
Also,
Honestly,
Kroof, are you saying you don't
not
listen
bad.
to the Lightbringers podcast religiously on Spotify after you've been on it?
I'm giving you those YouTube views, Jebro, so I really hope that you send me a nice fruit basket and a good card to show that you appreciate what I'm doing for the viewership. And yes, I have an obsession where I always listen to myself
These are
after
my
I do
top
content.
You do that
These are
and
my
you go
top
to...
artists.
okay.
Ooh, not the phone notification. Sorry.
It's a screenshot.
He's looking at the screen.
It's a screenshot just to get...
I was trying to.
It's still to get a notification.
No.
Okay, so we're going to go back to what the podcast is about. Also, Vonix is not here today. We wish you well and all the things that you're going through right now. Hope you're good, my friend. We love your face and miss you. Otherwise, we're going to be going through weapons. So weapon beta came out beginning of this week and will be on until the 3rd of December. We've got new weapons for all the classes. That is not elite specialization specific, peeps. It's just a weapon. But as we were talking about last week, or even just over the last couple of weeks, these weapons, some of them feel like they've got so much to them that they feel like a mini elite spec, as far as I remember us talking about. And I just logged out randomly, so that was good. But what we're going to do
Nailed
is...
it.
Oh yeah, I'm really on
You
it
had
today.
one job, Jebro. Play the game.
Yeah, it was literally that. Well, I failed at that on stream as well. Darling, come here. No, stop. She's playing with
Well,
a
you could
little.
you're able to. Have you trained your cat?
No, a little tiny bit, I guess. She stops when I say her name. But now she's just got like. She's got this little stone litter and she just pulls one out randomly with her hand.
Yeah.
And she'll just like start running around with it. I'm like, dude, you've got so many things to play with. Like,
I think she needs more toys.
she just got a flipping advent calendar of toys. Like,
Is any of them rocks?
I'm really geek.
Yeah, are any of them rocks or
That's
garbage?
true. Yeah, right. I've got
Little
tinsel.
pebbles.
I've got tinsel. I'm Christmas stuff, right? She's tinsel. She loves tinsel. She is on it.
Yeah,
On it with the tinsel. Okay, so what we're gonna do, everyone.
I like tinfoil.
You personally just like tinfoil, like just playing with it, like not.
I
cat.
used to as a kid.
Tinfoil is great.
That makes sense.
Have you ever balled up tinfoil and then try to make it as spherical as possible by like
Yes.
rubbing it on the table and stuff?
Oh,
And it's, like,
I've never
perfect.
rubbed it on the table, just my hand.
I'm not gonna say
No, we're not saying
anything
anything.
about that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say
We're gonna be
anything
moving on.
about
We're gonna
that.
move.
Okay,
on.
we are moving. We are moving on. Okay, so the one thing, so I tell you what. All right, so I'm playing Guardian Pistols. We've got Guardian Pistols. We've got Boots. Is what are you gonna play?
I am gonna play a virtuoso
That does.
with the new inspiration traits,
Okay.
and I will use the rifle, but in my off weapon set.
We're gonna be missing out on those heals though.
Emergency heals. You don't need them though. You don't need them. I do more healing without that.
Okay, so Boots is just not gonna be using the new weapon.
I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it. Anyway, I'm gonna
Oh, we
use it
don't
just
have
in case
knives or
somebody
not.
gets into
That's sad.
real big trouble, and I get to use the portal gun.
Oh, okay, fair play.
True.
Yeah. Here, Jebro, take my portal. Take my portal, Jebro. Quick.
I'm
take my
taking it.
portal. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we
You're
did the
safe now.
thing. I am
You're
safe.
safe.
I was in trouble.
You just got portal.
There is a small what's it called? Oh my god, Quaggan around here that's hunting me. So.
Kroof and I are just on like a magical turtle journey in the background. So we're just having a
Yeah.
great
Oh, that's
time.
you.
I don't
Yeah,
think I can
that's
take.
us.
I wish I could take the portal while mounted on the siege turtle.
You can't.
Because then we both.
You can't. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
sad. I mean, it'd be nice, but I understand why.
What are we gonna do? Do we want to do a cheeky little dungeon, or do we want to run around the zone? We can't run around Nias because I just realised we don't actually have access to that. But
We could do anything.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm good with anything. I was gonna
Alright.
say I'm doing warrior staff for anybody.
Yes,
who
sorry.
doesn't know.
Rick's doing more stuff. Awesome, thank you. I was asking and then interrupted myself with another question. Kriv, what are you doing?
I'm running dual sword necro.
Oh,
Ayo.
you're everyone's favorite.
Ayo.
Cool. Okay. Wicked.
Really?
Oh, it
I
looks
think
good.
it was everyone's favorite before they all came out.
Yeah. Also, I really haven't been looking at like the community reaction to these. I've been kind of like busy, so I haven't had time to.
I mean, we can get our own
So-
community right
You only
here
know
to
your own
give some reactions.
Yeah.
That's pure. I like that, Kroof, that you only have your own reaction to think about and not the
It's very, very calming. But I
Let's-
just posted a video today, so the floodgates are going to be opening. And then
Oh, do you
people are
want to
gonna be
tell it? Oh,
"You're
please,
wrong."
please tell your story that you told us earlier. Whether or not you want to talk about
What?
your own reaction. The
I think
support
we gotta
weapons.
talk about
the support
your
weapons
story,
comment.
Jebro, about the video you put up.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, we'll go there. We're gonna do Silver or Flame because it's an oldie and it's a favorite. Well, not. I don't know if it's a favorite, but it's just it's easy.
I'm going to post it in chat. Oh, wait, no, we can just go to the dungeon because there's a dungeon portal now in Lion's
There's a
Arch.
dungeon portal now, yeah. All the way.
Oh,
About
Wait,
that.
what?
Near-
Yeah.
Wow.
where? What?
It's
Dungeon
by
entrance.
the
South
by the
of
raid.
Practice.
Yeah, it's in that fractal raid
And you
area
can just
with the
go
World
to
versus
whatever
World
one you
gates.
want. I didn't even know
Yeah.
about that. Wow.
When was that put in?
Like I think last month.
When was that?
I think in
put in?
preparation.
so pretty
It was
recently.
yeah. I think it was in preparation for the dungeon rush that's coming. I think. Now I will say it's just an NPC. I kind of wish there was a portal, but
That would make sense.
it'll do. It'll do.
Since we have loads
Story
of them in
mode.
the
I
game.
am in
right?
Citadel of Flame story mode.
No, do you want to do story mode or do you want to do?
The hardest one
I
there
think we
is.
only can do story mode because I don't think any of us have done the story mode.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
very
All
true.
beta.
Yeah. I still wish that was account wide and or just
Yeah.
not a thing.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I forgot about that
Yep, yep.
screenshot. That's cool.
We can
Okay.
do a fractal, can't we?
Oh,
We
We can do a fractal after
could.
this. Let's do.
tier 1
Do you
fractals.
just want to do
Yeah.
a fractal? Well, I mean, there's
It'll
not
probably
always.
be faster because we could just like
is
fight
true.
rather than like story.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
okay.
don't have to
all
listen
right.
to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
do that.
Look, tier 1 fractals. Let's go.
It's all good. One with a lot of mobs. What's the one with a lot of mobs?
Wait, what was the newest?
Oh wait, the chart
Maybe not
one's
the
a
newest
lot of
one.
mobs, isn't it?
But it changes our character.
But the Charmin
Oh
changes our
yeah, that's
characters.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Mhm.
We gotta pick one that doesn't change our character.
What's the one that has the roly ball?
That is the
That's
You know,
your
Indiana
dreams,
Jones.
not
Indiana
fractal.
Jones, yeah.
Oh, the is it uncategorized?
No.
Oh, I know the
Categorized, I
one.
thought is the one that you go and hit the cat golems.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
Is it?
Yeah,
I thought so.
that's
Is
uncategorized.
it the chaos one?
Well, there's one that's fiery, and you
It's
fight
volcanic.
this like shaman
volcanic.
guy.
It's volcanic.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
And it's the first
Oh.
one.
The very first one. Do you remember the trailer? The animated trailer they made
Oh,
for
I was
that?
thinking of a completely different one.
Oh, well, you're wrong. So,
we
chat,
all
let us know
had
what you think about the
0
weapons.
AR.
What are your favorite weapons? And I'll tell you about the story about the YouTube video. So, obviously, I'm an engineer main. I love making engineer. I just mostly make engineer videos. We're missing one person. We'll wait for before we go. I put the video out. It got pretty good viewership. Like, viewership's good. No worries. But
You know why?
everyone just
Hate views.
crapped. Yeah, everyone just crapped on it. They didn't crap
Oh,
on
no.
me. They were just
No,
they
of course not.
hated the engineer shortbow. Oh no, it wasn't about me. They like I got likes. I got more likes than dislikes, thank God. But like
there you go.
it was just literally like it's the worst weapon ever. It doesn't do anything
What?
fun. It doesn't look good. It feels crappy. I can give you direct quotes, but oh my God. And I was just like, when I did the video, I was just like first impressions. I hadn't even touched it. And I had fun with it as well, which is weird. And I was like, oh, damn. Does anyone else feel like this about other things? And then I saw people talking about necro sword. And I was like, oh, people don't seem to like that either? I didn't hear anything about druid, about ranger,
I think
sorry.
Necro Sword. I don't think people don't like Necro Sword. I think they just
Yeah.
feel it's like not quite there yet.
Okay,
There's
all right, good,
for
good.
necro swords. I agree. I would say my playtime, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't as satisfactory when you're considering the mechanic that it presents, which is like you sacrifice health to get those other abilities. It just didn't feel like it was fully there, but there's a path to satisfaction.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Get in there. I'm gonna heal you.
But as for the engineer shortbow, I was almost indifferent about it. Like I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. It was just, I think it which isn't great to feel on a new weapon set where it's kind of an expansion feature, which we're getting new weapons. You kind of want every weapon to have its big moment and feel extremely satisfactory. But in my playtime, it just kind of felt, I think the way it was made, it is reminiscent of like staff necromancer marks and or traps where you set these things down. Now, granted, I do like that you have that added layer of thought where depending on your detonation, it can influence that other arrow. I will say I give that credit. I think that is a little bit more interesting for the format of this, trap-esque weapon. But yeah, I think the numbers for me weren't, like, it didn't feel like, I didn't know what I was supposed to do with it.
Yeah.
And I felt like with whatever I was doing, it wasn't
Right.
impactful enough.
Right. That is
I think
the thing. Sure.
I feel like the way they describe Necro Sword's sword,
Okay.
everybody got really excited because it sounded amazing. And the reason it sounded amazing is because they used like a lot of language that made it sound like the sacrifices were large and scary, and the amount of boosts you get from the sacrifices were like quite substantial. But in practice, it's like smaller sacrifice, less boosts.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think if they just tweak that, it could be better.
Yeah, I think it
Everybody's
just needs
concentrating so hard on the game right
I'm
now.
so sorry.
I know.
I am-
Where are my heels? I'm dying.
I'm looking at my abilities because I haven't tried this
Wait.
yet. So
I'm like, why am I dying? I'm actively sacrificing my health.
Oh, that's it.
We were talking
There you
about.
go. I rushed over to you to heal you. I got you. I got
Thank you.
Good. I was looking at this, and Kroof made a really good point earlier about Guardian and talking about the symbol on the pistol for Guardian on the third ability. It doesn't, because Kroof was saying how it didn't have a boon. So it's like, the weapon doing the thing, or the mechanic of the class not doing the thing that you would assume it would do. So you have that similarity going through, well, I can't remember the word I'm trying, synergy of like just abilities and also knowledge of players. Like if you're new, if it's a symbol, it gives you boons, right? Like, that would just be
would you
good.
like on it?
That makes sense, right? But like they haven't got that. So that should change. Like that should be something which they if they're gonna abuse.
What boon do you want on it?
That's interesting. Might probably. I think Kroof said might.
No one look at me.
It's like fire. Well, fire, right? Like I'm thinking about. Wow, Kroof died in the tier 1
Oh no,
factor.
I got down too.
What
It's
the
okay,
hell
I
is
got a
going
revive
on?
orb.
What?
I got a revive orb.
No,
We're good.
no. I was almost gonna die as well. Is everyone okay?
Yeah,
It's okay,
totally
we're almost
fine.
there.
Definitely not dead.
So I was necro
Oh, you're
leaping
dead?
and I
Wait.
leapt into a giant ball of fire.
Oh.
I'm coming back.
I was reading my abilities. It's fine. I've got to retry from checkpoint. I'm coming. I'm
damn it.
coming.
No, I'm gonna die.
Pay no attention to the fact that 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 4 Lightbringers have died in level 1 fractal.
I'm not
Hey,
dead.
those are instant down mechanics, no matter what level.
That's true, but
And I was
you
just,
still die.
thinking and talking and playing at the same time is very difficult for me.
It's so hard.
It's very difficult, it's true.
But oh yeah, a guardian symbol.
Yes.
I think I would like to see it have might, just because
Yeah.
as that like opposite to the scepter, which is your main hand power, pistol's going to be your main hand condition damage. I think might would just be a very easy one to do, and would make sense to also empower those condition strikes and strike
Yeah.
damage. So.
That makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
And it's a stacking boon as well, so you're never not wanting might. You're always going to get a little bit out of it, depending on the group composition. Sorry, time to throw
Okay.
these orbs to Sean.
Sorry, I was like, this
But
is interesting.
how is this is your first time playing the Guardian pistols, right, Jebro? How are you
Yeah,
feeling
yeah.
with it?
I'm trying to understand that, because there's the third skill also, if you shoot into it, it does ignite a projectile. If the symbol is ignited, by a projectile, it enchants the projectile to burn its target as well. So it does the burning inside, but like normally it would just
So
keep
the
burning
way it
with a
works is you put it
projectile
down
for
and
anyway.
it acts as a fire field essentially.
Yeah,
If you had,
that's it,
but
right?
Only with
kind of.
pistols,
Why
right?
don't they just make it a fire field?
Because
think
pistols
that would
don't
make-
have any combo finishers on them, so it doesn't work exactly like a fire field.
See, that is the thing which is not good, I don't think, because like it just confuses players that don't get this stuff. Like it's just confusing.
Though, in a weird way, it kind of adds more
Power
flexibility with that symbol because it's
Also,
a light
it
field and you
stacks.
can
It
blast.
stacks with fire fields.
Yeah, and it will
That's
stack
true.
with a fire field.
Yeah, but it's still really kind of just like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not keen on them like changing the idea of what different things should be and do, and when there's already so much to think about anyway as a new player. Like people don't get like most of the community don't understand what a combo field is. It's like it's just more stuff. I mean, I'm not saying that everyone doesn't know, but like that's a lot for a new player to already learn, and then it's just like there's inconsistencies. That's what it feels like to me, but it's just my opinion.
So I don't mind it as much for Guardian because its weapon is very straightforward. There are two pistols and there's not like this huge minigame that's going on throughout all the skills. It's this one singular symbol which will kind of change the way you look at the way you're shooting your pistol projectiles.
That's true.
So I don't mind that entirely. It's not something that's too overwhelming, and I think people can get used to it fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So I think the pistols were a very successful weapon set in my opinion.
It's fun so far. It just feels like similar animations to Guardian to Engineer Pistol as well, like with the kind of poison volley. So there's nothing like new like animation wise other than
Jurisdiction?
the beam. I mean the beam, yeah. The beam is
What
cool.
about that fifth ability?
Oh yeah, I've been using that a bit. Oh shoot, I'm gonna die. It's not my fault.
That is so new.
Is it new? I mean,
There you
yeah,
go. There you
kind
go. Have
of.
some heals.
Kind of, thank you.
Well, you gotta look at the spell symbols that enter around your gun,
Oh, I'm gonna serve. Sorry.
and the way that it actually works is very new. It's a charge ability,
That's
which
true.
used to be in Guild Wars 2's alphas and demos, and then they removed it due to decision makings, and they seem to be bringing it back a little bit, which I actually really like. And the way that you can decide to shoot it out at its lower first charge if you want that convenience. You can choose to hold it a little bit longer to make it a little bit stronger for that second level, and then you have that final charge of that ability, which is a little bit more of a payoff. However, to note, that final charge will pass through all enemies until it reaches its final destination. You can actually hit it again very quickly to detonate it wherever you want it to be at, which I don't know if it's super clear on the tooltip, and especially because currently your skill icons are all under construction and it's not super clear. So yeah, you can, if you get to that final charge, you can detonate it whenever you need to hit an enemy that's really close, so you don't completely miss the skill.
Okay, I'll try using that a little bit better. The second ability I like though as well. It's got a lot of burning. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
I think I like the Guardian pistols. When I saw the video at first, like the trailer, they seemed very slow, all the animations and stuff, but in practice it works. It's good. I like it.
I fell. No.
No. You're fine. You're fine.
You're not dead. It's okay.
No. I'm okay. I can come back up.
And speaking of slowness,
I like the knockback as well, by the way. That's cool. That's the cool addition. That's a nice
Over the
PvP.
fifth, yeah.
That's a nice PvP world kind of. And also Defiance
But-
bar, right? So like that's pretty cool.
speaking of slowness, these necro swords, I think that's another thing. It's like the sacrifice. A lot of your abilities have a decent cast time to them, so it does feel a little slow.
Yeah.
And because you're sacrificing them and you're getting so little damage, I think that's another element of this weapon set.
How does it compare
that is
to
a
other
little
swords?
unfortunate.
Then like on Rev
Slow.
or Guardian, just really slow.
Just kind of slow and very low damage, it feels.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do like, I don't know why, but there is something while playing it that I do like. I like the flow of it, but it's just the speed could probably be tuned a little bit better, and the numbers. I think that's my only issue. And there's a lot of chill application on the auto attack. So I was actually playing around with a
Reaper?
condition play style for Reaper.
Yeah.
And so it is a strike damage weapon, but if you want to build it to condition damage, I think you could. You might have to do some tweaking, but like there's something here that you could do more with this weapon set.
Oh, you rude person. I was just seeing you. Okay, that's interesting. So it doesn't feel very fast like it should do, but it does a lot. You said it does a lot of chill, works well with Reaper. Obviously, like, yeah, Reaper does all the chill and all the fun times there. So what is it like? So can you run me through some of the abilities, like just to remind me, because I can't remember.
So it's a ranged weapon as well,
Okay.
which is kind of cool. So it's more so cleaving. A lot of your attacks will hit many enemies in a line, and for your 2nd through 5th ability, they all have a flip over, which costs health and will do another effect.
Nice.
At this point, those effects are not super strong. Like your 2nd ability, Ravenous Wave, it'll do like a big line, and then you can activate it again, sacrifice your health, and then damage enemies. You do more damage if enemies are below 50%. But it's just, numbers. So I like that. It's very cool. You get to choose to sacrifice health if you want to in that situation, if you feel comfortable. And you have this big orb ability on the 5th skill, which is really cool looking. And it
Yeah.
actually does damage over time, but strike damage. And I think that could be a really fun theme for Sword if they wanted to. One recommendation I had when I was streaming was like, your sacrifice ability on your skill 2 is called Satiate. It just does a 1 packet of strike damage, which isn't useful. I think if it also did like 5 seconds of damage over time, but strike damage oriented, that would kind of be a very unique way of building a strike damage weapon. So there's I see some different themes that they're playing around with, but I just don't think it's maybe as cohesive as it could be to really be satisfying. But those flip overs are really where I think they could play around more. But it does feel fun to use, which is weird, because usually I'd be like, no, it's not meshing well, I don't like it. But there's still some, maybe it's just I love Necro, and I'm like, I'm going to find enjoyment out of anything with Necro, but it is what it is right now.
Maybe that's the same with Engineer with me, right? Like, because it's my main class and I just enjoy it so much.
Yeah, so you still find something to like about the Shortbow.
Absolutely, yeah.
And yeah, Yukon says it's a ranged weapon, but a lot of Power Reaper wants to be melee, and even the leap on the sword is a bit clunky. It's a ranged weapon, and your 3rd ability leaps you into melee, which is it's a little strange. So that is another thing. When I first played this, I was like, what do I use it with? Do I go core necro and go like a ranged core necro, but core shroud is more sustain oriented? I feel like it's, long ranged attacks aren't as beefy when compared to things like the melee reaper. So
I said corn. I was like,
if it's slow, I wonder if Harbinger is a fun way to go. Go power Harbinger and give yourself quickness.
The only thing with Harbinger that I could see being very tricky is that you don't have that actual shroud. You'll continually eat at your health if you use those sacrifice skills, and then stacking up, what's it called?
Sandwiches.
The thing that reduces your health.
Yeah.
You're going to be very vulnerable. But one thing that I was playing around with is actually Dread on the core Necromancer trait line. It's a trait where if you inflict fear, you give yourself quickness.
Right. Yeah.
And your offhand sword is you get
What's
fear
the
on
cooldown
it.
on that 5th?
25 seconds. And it's
So you could just
no
stack it
boon
with
duration,
staff then or
5
something?
seconds of quickness.
Yeah.
So if you went with a bit concentration, you could get some decent personal quickness uptime.
Yeah, 'cause
which
you
is
could also
like
offhand staff, I guess, or something.
That's right.
and then go into your shroud and then use the fear that you have on your shroud.
You're on the shroud.
Yeah, you can go
So,
fish.
and then with and then you could go
Blight.
What's it
Thank you,
called?
Victor.
That's
the
one.
two sigils. You could do Celerity Sigil for another 5 seconds of quickness, and then Rage Sigil for 3
I
seconds.
mean, you
every
can
20
go
seconds.
for wells as well. Just go for wells, right?
Is there a fear well?
Oh no, sorry. I thought you were
could do
talking about quickness.
Chronomancer. You're talking about Chronomancer. Is there still a Chronomancer?
Yes, there's a relic. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
here's a question for all of you. Do you think that the relics have made, do they make a huge difference in this? Is it something where, having these separate relics, having them be more tailored and things with some of these new weapons, do you feel like they're really needed to bring together like a playstyle, or is it more just kind of a like coincidental, like, oh sure, you can add this to make it more effective kind of thing?
There are some which are really powerful.
I think it depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right now, I think for like general PvE or for like raiding or instance content, I think a lot of people just pick the best thing for its role. So this one does a lot of damage. So it's a Condi damage one. It's the best Condi damage one. We're gonna take it. I think in PvP, the idea behind relics would be that they should do what you described. But I still think that right now the relics they're not balanced in such a way as that taking a relic just because it's way better than everything else isn't the decision to make. You know, I think a lot of people just take the best relic right now, as opposed to.
Yeah, some people take the best relic.
Yeah.
Though I do find that relics give an opportunity to be
Build
more,
into it.
like if you kind of approach it like boots, where you're like trying to do a very particular thing, it could be really fun. There was actually one weapon set, actually warrior, for the staff. I don't think it has a blast finisher on it, but I was like, oh, you can like mesh the new relic called Relic of Caracosa. When you blast in a field, you'll heal allies. I was like, oh, that's like an obvious thing they're gonna do, and they ended up not adding a blast finisher on the warrior staff. So I was like,
Okay.
no. So it really depends on the
Shortbow.
weapon.
You can do that with
Do you think that they did that to avoid making it something where, like, to use a weapon, like the most efficient, like you have to have a rune for it, or do you think that that was just like they just didn't put a blast finisher on it, kind of thing?
I think they just didn't put a blast finisher because
gotcha.
I don't think the tuning on that effect is so strong where you're like, I have to use this.
Gotcha.
It's more so just like an added flavor of what you want to do.
Yeah, if they had put a water field on it, they would have put a blast finisher on it.
Yeah.
But because they didn't think about it.
There are some
gotcha.
good ones.
But
There are some good ones, like especially
speaking-
World v World and PvP. Like those, that's where those relics feel a lot more. They feel very strong because of like the uniqueness. Like fireworks is really good for damage, like just for everyone. I feel like it makes it. I feel like relics kind of make that end slot less kind of. It just separates them so people can use different stats and just like do different things. I think like lots of people use different runes now than they did before, and maybe like in different game modes. So like, you know, sometimes it's like in PvP, water stats with like monk relic combination like is a bit different, right? So it's kind of fun to try all those different combinations. I don't think it made just like.
I'm sorry, I realized I was saying rune, but I meant relic. You know what I was saying.
No, we know. You said relic, and I'm talking about like that combination of those, right? So that's what like splitting those apart. I like that you can mix and match a bit, but I think inevitably it's all just like people just look up the best one, and it's not really that different. But like,
Yeah, I think what they gotta do is take a look at relics eventually, and obviously they have metrics, I'm sure, of seeing which ones are actually getting used and which ones aren't, and they'll have to like either make some of the ones that aren't getting used a little bit better or more interesting, because ideally all the relics would be interesting.
I think they should just do something wild. Like they should just do something really cool and like rather than like just stats. Like I would just like them to do something else. But then again, you know, I'm not the only person. And again, like loads of people would probably be pissed about that, honestly. Like, but you know,
the other thing they gotta do is go back to runes and take a look at all of them again, because we don't need all those runes anymore.
Yeah, we
There's
really
way
don't.
too many, and I think that might be why. I think they're gonna start putting those.
There's a lot of runes that just give you the same stuff, but some are just better now because they don't have the sixth bonus anymore.
That's right. That's why they did it. That's one of the reasons why they probably did it, because they were like, you know, it was like back in the day, people would only use the thing in PvP just because of it's like vampire rune, like back in the day of PvP, I think had like not life force but like rezzing power or something was really strong, and so they nerfed that, and it's like, well, they can now just nerf a relic rather than a whole rune and people won't be as pissed. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe.
It's kind of interesting. Okay, question. Sorry, what?
Bye.
Are you okay there?
Oh, were we supposed to miss something?
We didn't hit a button.
I should have thrown it
There was a button.
onto a damage
Oh,
fractal.
back
We just
here?
went back.
Yeah.
I see.
I was not paying
How
attention.
did you feel about the staff, Rook, while you were playing it? Did you get
Were you
to
ever kept it? I'm liking it.
God.
I've been so quiet at the start of the podcast because I've just been like so very deep into trying to get a bit of a handle on warrior staff, and I picked it because so many people have been saying that warrior staff has been one of their favorites that was introduced, and that it's really enjoyable. And I have to say, I actually, from what I'm piecing together as we go, I have to agree. Like, I really enjoy the kind of mobility aspects, and I know there's been some discussion about the perhaps clunkiness of ally targeting, like with the staff 3, but the fact that if you target an enemy, that's gonna take you to them and do damage, or if you target an ally, like I've just been clicking people's portraits, honestly, or like using it as a way to get around or reposition, and it's kind of fun alongside with Bladestorm, because you do get, your attacks and stuff, and there are the blinks and things that you can do within this, but this almost gives you like an additional way to kind of get around the field, do some melee damage in an area, heal up, like dodge back over somewhere else. So I am enjoying it, to be honest. I think that it's nice that for it having that like support healing capability, which seems pretty strong. It seems pretty good just with like the basic builds that they tossed on here with the beta. I haven't like finessed it or put a ton of stuff on it other than just what they gave us. But it seems like it makes a discernible difference, like as I am going around and using those abilities or skills on players, that like actually is doing effective or efficient healing to a decent degree. And I also still have that DPS so that I can do a bit of the hits while I'm there kind of thing. Oh, I accidentally grabbed the orb and now I am, we all have one. Okay.
Yeah,
I was
it's okay.
like, where am I?
You still get to bonk people, which is very good on a warrior.
Yeah, which I think makes it still feels like a frontline combatant, right? Like, I feel with the staff that it feels very different than, when I'm playing staff druid, right? It very much does feel like I am up in the front lines. I'm moving around, I'm healing, I'm leaping across. I like the animation of, I think, let me see, 2, where you like leap forward and like slam it down into the ground. That's really good.
I think that should be okay. It says Valiant Leap, and it's more a leap finisher or a blast finisher. I think if they put a blast finisher on that, that'd be delicious.
I would agree to you if they also had a water field on it.
They don't need a water field. They don't need a water field. They don't need a water field because we got the relic Carcosa. We got the relic. You can do some healing on that.
But then you have to bring your own fields.
Well, that's why you have friends. Have you thought about that?
I've never thought about that.
Look at that.
I do not.
AoE Chaos Armor. Love it. I love that ethereal field. Oh, man.
That, and also Mesmer Rifle boots, because you've been just playing so much Mesmer Rifle in this stream.
No, that was me who gave Chaos Armor.
How are you? Oh, yes. It chained into the Mesmer. How are you liking Mesmer Rifle at this
I'll
moment?
say I just switched to it just to see how it feels. And I'll say the one thing, it's got a lot of healing on it. So that's great. But the journey, the number 5, the second skill, sorry, that has a 5-second cooldown. It's got a good amount of healing on it too, but it's got a long delay to it.
I think that is something my friends, you and I have all said is like that second one just feels a bit slow.
Yeah, that's super long delay. It's weird. So anyway, otherwise it's fine.
Nice.
I really like the Messer Rifle. I think having the also when you have clones, those clones will heal as well, and they do about 100 healing each, so you can get like if you have all 3 of your clones out, you can have just like a passive 300 healing ticking on the group at all times, which could bring a decent amount of sustain.
He made the F alone, dude.
And I guess my only critique of the Mesmer rifle is the Phantasm. I think the Phantasm could be a little bit more exciting.
You're not a
And I think because
Phantasm
it is a
enjoyer?
support weapon, it'd be interesting if you had a Phantasm that could target an ally and, maybe provide like a stack of stability on that shot. Instead of
Right.
like a stun on an enemy, it prevents someone from getting CC'd to kind of have that foil to that skill. And maybe a bit more decision making. But that was the only one where I was like, okay, it's a skill.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess it's not really thematic to the rest of the rifle.
I have to give it a
But,
bash
okay.
after this.
Sure, fair enough. What is
Awesome.
it?
I
I have
You
no
have
idea.
to do a special thing with it.
Oh,
you
yeah,
have to
the
put these, like
soundtrack.
huddled down. Yeah.
I forgot. I have
Good
not
job.
played fractals on a
I
hot
was like, oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've been in here.
Okay, so I'm playing Engineer Shortbow. If you're watching as well and you can see our video, you might be able to see I'm just kind of spamming things a bit here and there, but that's because you have to pop off you have to pop off different fields. Now the fun thing about this is the fact that when you put down one of your arrows, it doesn't actually activate. You have to activate it by using it again. So you've got the field right there, right? But then you've also got you've got the fire field. So if you want to, blast that with your second ability, which is a blast, or another blast you have, which I've got, which is like, throw mine, etc., etc. You can get might on fire field. You've also got ethereal for chaos armor. You've also got fire for might. You've also got combo field dark. You've also got weakness. Yeah, weakness on there, blindness as well, and then you got the second field, which is barrier as well, which is really, really cool. And then the activate is a blast. Now you can get, I've got just on DPS quickness, you can get like 4K, up to about 4K barrier, which is really, really nice actually, really, really cool. It's pretty good, and so I've not got the heal spec. It's more of like a support kind of quickness scrapper spec, right? But then if you play full support, you've also got chaos armor. You've also got a big stun on the 5th skill. You've also got the thing I really, really like about this is that you can stack these up in a row like this, and you can actually activate when you activate one. So I'll press the 5 skill, for example, activates them all in a row. So you can cover like a whole raid if you want to. And depending on which ability you use to activate, you actually get a secondary effect. So there's a lot of... This is probably one of the more complicated ones to really think about what are you going to be able to combo this with to get the best effect with. I think generally for most of the community, which is why I think people don't like it, because I actually really enjoy it. Like I'm really having fun with it.
I think the amount of time that you're
interesting.
actually going to put down all the fields and then trigger them all with a certain effect is pretty low. If it's gonna,
It just depends, I guess. Yeah, on what you want to do.
If the weapon's gonna stay in this state, I think that's pretty low. The amount of times people are gonna do that. Most likely, if people are gonna use this, it'll be a support kind of thing paired with quickness scrapper because it's got that blast finisher on a 6-second cooldown.
Yeah.
And so you could get your quickness.
And also
up
you put
easily
might out with the 5th skill as well, which is big.
Yeah. But you want your fields, so most likely you're only going to be comboing two abilities together at any one time. It would be like 3 and 2, 4 and 2, and 5 and 2. So you always get that blast finisher, right?
It depends because like 5 is like Defiant Bar stun as well, so that will be used a lot for CC. You also got like on the 4th skill with might, you've also got like 10 stacks of vulnerability, which is nice when you just have that on its own and you've activated that, which is really, really nice. And then don't forget you've actually got condition removal and healing on this as well, so there is actually a nice amount of healing and condition removal. And if you pop up if you combine that with other fields, other arrows, you actually do more condition removal and healing as well, depending on which order you use them blast wise. So
There's
it's like,
condition removal?
yeah, it's pretty wild.
Where?
Oh
Let's
wait,
go
there
for
was.
anything.
I'm pretty sure there was.
Condition removal. Remove 3 conditions.
Which one is it? I'm missing it.
Skill 3, I think.
Is it skill 3? Yes, it's got healing, condition remove 3. Yes. So there's like it's got a lot. And I think this is going to be one which is more of a like over time, and then people are going to realize I just think it might be too complicated for people. I actually think that might be the problem.
I'm not sure
I don't
if
think
it's
it's that
the
complicated.
complexity.
I don't think it's
the
complicated for
tiny-
us. I don't think
No,
it's
I
complicated
think
for like maybe.
I don't really
know,
think it's all too complicated
I think it's
because
just how
out
niche it
of
is.
all of the weapons, though, probably I would say. Wouldn't you?
all the weapons. Which one is the most complex? Ellie.
I mean, it's got the most.
Ellie pistols can be always a little, but that's just Ellie in general. They're like, oh, you want to play a mage? You have to go to college.
I
You
think
gotta
the
get a
reason,
degree in magic.
Yeah.
Get a
I think the
degree
Ellie
and then come
pistol
back.
is only complex right now because it has all the
Ellie's just complex.
under construction ability icons.
Yeah.
So it's impossible to like really get a handle on the LE skills yet, because it's just like so hard to see what is what while
True.
you're using them.
You are so
What?
brave and vulnerable.
What?
You totally led me astray.
I got it. You just gotta hug the wall. You just gotta hug the wall.
I have no idea what was happening there anyway, so thank you.
I was riding the wall.
I've not
No,
died
yeah.
yet. I'm just
Group had
saying.
was no longer adhering to the visible pathway, and I went to follow them and just plunged into the.
Y'all didn't know it's the new sword necro mechanic. You can just create your own path.
Incredible.
Actually, I think this would be a good
NG
PvP
Shortbow.
weapon.
I
as
think
well,
NG
to be
Shortbow
honest.
for me, the radii and the cooldowns are all very. I think those are two things for me. The
Yeah.
cooldowns were all so different from each other that it's sometimes difficult to like wait and stack things up. And also the radius effects of those abilities. I know the barrier, you only get a burst of barrier. It's not
Yes, yeah,
pulsing.
yeah.
So it's extremely reliant on people being at the proper positioning to get use out of that. I think if it was also pulsing, it would allow people to move in and out a little bit more and still get use out of that barrier.
That's
Because
true.
everything else is pulsing. Barrier is the only one that is on detonation. So,
That's true.
and I like the idea that you can kind of spread two arrows in one location, two at another, and then have those separate detonations. But it also then just makes it to where your arrows do have to be stacked in a pretty tight area if you want a huge burst of everything.
That's true.
So
That is
it
true.
can be a bit difficult to manage, I think.
Yeah, the fields are. a bit
I think the reason why I like
So-
because of the field is because there's a really like it works really well with Scrapper. Like like the kinetic accelerators, when you successfully combo a field with a blast finisher or a blast or lit finisher, you get quickness as well. And I'm like, that's really easy to
Yeah.
get now. Like even easier than it was before. So that's
would
kind of
say
fun.
I would say if we were to continue using this weapon the way it's designed, then the fields need to be a bit bigger,
Yes. I agree.
and the
Maybe like 210.
And the cooldowns need to be aligned such that, because if you do 3 and then 2, 4 and then 2, 5 and then 2, and I think you do 3 and then 2 again because the cooldown would be up. But after that, everything's on cooldown, and there's periods of time where everything's on cooldown when you want to be using skills, but you can't.
True. That's true.
And I think they
So-
said that they last for. Do they last 20 seconds or was that Thief Axe?
Do you
they
mean
said
just with the actual arrow down or activated?
Yeah.
Or with it
Like
down?
you could, because
Oh,
you
God, I don't
can
know.
plant them and then not activate.
Yeah. But then when you put the arrow, you can't put the arrow down again. I don't know actually. Let me
No.
just see. Let me just see. I'll
Yeah,
leave
because you
that
have to
down.
detonate it.
I'll leave it down. Because you can't put another one down. Yeah, because the skill switches over. So, not making our lives any easier here. I think one thing I do like is the fact that you do not have to stop moving when you use this, which is good. So there's not even one little like Guardian Longbow 5, for example. You stop for a second and then you kind of keep moving, and that used to be you would stag for a lot longer as well back then. So you can kind of run around and do the things. But yeah, I definitely agree with the comment about it being bigger. That would be cool.
Oh no! Do we have to? Do
We're okay. We can't.
Oh my god!
No.
I
haven't
thought it
done
would just pop me on a good square. No, it did not.
Oh god, I need my action camera. I still can't remember what to do on this. So.
I think the one thing for engineer visually, it was like it pulls from all the other classes. So mechanically, it's interesting mechanically, but visually, I was also kind of just like, these are kind of all things that I've seen before.
Oh, okay. I kind of, I don't know if about the, I mean, I guess the marks make a little bit of sense, but they're not really the same as marks. They're just an AoE. It's more of like you still have to activate it. And there is a kind of a cool effect. I like the blue of the fire field or whatever, like, you know. Again, that should be probably red, but I get what they're trying to do there, because they're like, oh, the engineer has siphoned the power of guardians, necros, mesmers, and thieves. And I guess that makes sense. They were like, screw early. But yeah, I haven't really played the other one, so I haven't. This is just one of my. Like, I'm doing a nice little bit of
I think I
healing
want to
there.
swap to Rev next, because I want to talk about Revenant.
Is it?
Alright.
So that was
I'll go there.
Scepter. People did not like my. I don't know.
Oh,
People
I
like it?
did not vibe with this weapon
Really?
at all.
The Revenant
okay.
weapon?
The Revenant Scepter was not.
Ooh.
It did not eat.
Oh,
What-
really?
It left
about
me
it?
hungry.
What about it
Really?
left you so famished, do you think?
It's just kind of all over the place.
Oh no.
And the way it was tuned, presented to us in the beta, was also, it felt weak. Or at least like one skill in particular. I've started saying on stream and like in videos, if your tooltip is more overwhelming than the skill's effect, maybe you've gone wrong. Maybe there's something not
No.
lining up here.
Yeah.
Because you
Honestly,
are
that's-
reading a novel, and it is there's one skill which is kind of like a huge, the moment on the weapon. But the way that it's been, I think, designed and the way it's been implemented, it's just been underwhelming.
I like that point about if the tooltip is huge, but the actual like ability itself does not really do anything of great effect. Like, I think that's definitely something sometimes in either new weapons, old weapons, class design in general. In Guild Wars 2, we have so many things that even like a single ability on a weapon can do that, if it's something that opens up potential for gameplay and skill ceiling for classes where you're going, okay, yes, or combo
Yes.
fields, or if I use this, or if I use that, then you're like, this will be more effective for me and I will get something more out of it. And it's worth learning these nuances because I can use it flexibly in a variety of ways. But then sometimes like you just look at a wall of text and you're just going, I just wish this thing did one thing good.
Yeah.
Like,
That was my fault.
I wish it had one single thing that it did good, and then I could use that thing and like not have to read a huge massive wall of stuff and wonder if maybe I only use it at exactly this time, then that's gonna be the best. Like, I think that sometimes that streamlining is definitely something I'd like to see them, focus on in certain areas too.
I completely agree, which is why I really liked Warrior and Guardian, because their skills were just like, we are giving you abilities and tools to fulfill a role and to answer a question that you are looking to solve in the flow of combat. But then when we got to, I'll swap to Rev Scepter next. Also,
Okay.
visually, I did not. The sword, it's a sword, and I was just a little sad because I was like, you have the opportunity to give Revenant a mid-ranged support playstyle, which they currently don't have.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that would have been really awesome for Revenant, but they decided to kind of push you back into melee again. But then your other two abilities are ranged abilities, so it feels weird.
But chat, are you talking about Revenant? I'll show it as well, and then we can, because I've not actually used it, and I feel like I need to. I'm gonna go random. We'll random this. There you go. Skip to the end. Skip to the end.
Let's all go Revenant.
Jebronant.
All right, jump right in it.
Jebronant.
But to kind of answer, we've been kind of talking like in general about our reactions to the Scepter. The Scepter is a melee / you can cast things at ranged support weapon. It seems like it's going to pair very well with shield, or at least that's kind of like
Sure.
what you'd go for. But it's its gimmick, the design and mini game is all revolving around the auto attack, which I actually don't mind. I think the auto attack is something that is like consistent throughout your abilities, but the way that it's done, and because it is so focused around so many successful auto attack chains, it does feel like you are limited in what you are actually able to do. You feel like you have to just auto attack, and you don't really have a lot of room to use your other abilities.
That brings me to a question I had about the new weapons, and it's that because they're intricate, a lot of them are very intricate weapons that rely on being on the weapon for long enough to get the advantage of completing their unique, play style in order to do cool things, right?
Yeah.
Just like the Rev, for example. That kind of goes against the usual playstyle of Guild Wars 2, the optimal playstyle of swapping back and forth between weapons a lot and using as many skills as possible. Is this something you like seeing more of in the game, that sticking on a weapon is actually better than swapping back and forth, or not?
In the case of Revenant, I think this is where it's done poorly. But in the case of something like Guardian, where it enhances that weapon in a very organic way.
Which Guardian?
Guardian pistols.
Sticking on the pistols is better than...
Not necessarily better. I think that's the thing. It's not necessarily better, but it complements what you're doing very well, because it's centered around the symbol. So you'll pop the symbol and you'll use your projectile abilities in there.
Except
and it's not like tying you
without
into it.
Like you could
it works
drop the symbol
with
and then go on a different weapon and it still works.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It works with that mechanic. It works
Okay, but
with
that's not exactly my question though. My question is these the weapons that do incentivize staying on that weapon to execute, like the Revenant, like Thief, I want to say, kind of does that in that it has a mechanic on it that you use because of the weapon itself. So you have to stay to get the most use out of the axes to come back more often than not. Is it something you want to see more of in the game, where staying on a singular weapon is prioritized over swapping back and forth just to use skills off cooldown?
No.
Okay.
No, and I think what I was getting with Guardian is that your projectiles passing through it, I believe, are specific to those pistol projectiles. And it's like that duality of either your pistol projectiles that pass through it empower the symbol, or simply striking an enemy will empower that symbol.
Yep.
So it's a very broad, quote unquote, mechanic, new feature, or interesting development with the symbol. In the case of Scepter, and also Ranger and Thief, this is where it feels like, because we're not getting elite specs, it felt like they were going to try to do an elite spec feature on a weapon, but you don't have that isolated feature of a profession mechanic where it is kind of by itself, and then it has the backing of this, your specializations and utility skills.
Grief, can you log in?
With this, you also have to consider your other weapon sets, your profession mechanic, what you're doing. It feels I just don't think it works for
Griff, can you log in and we can show the things off?
I am in.
Are you?
Oh, are we in the Fractals of the Mist?
Yeah.
Where'd you
I just I was booted into LA and I was like, we're just gonna be in LA. Sorry.
What have we been doing?
Oh, I didn't get the pop
The
up.
first thing, so I'm going to start. So we've gone to the advanced conversation, which is fine. But like, first of all,
it's important to note that I am no longer healing anything. So hopefully someone else.
So it's basically the same as last time. Cool.
I stayed on Warrior.
That's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're just on the fire one again.
We're safe. Rook's got
I haven't died yet though,
me.
so it's fine. The first thing I'd say when immediately logging in and being like, okay, this is Scepter and I press 1. Why is it sword? I don't get it. They've already got a sword. Why? I'm just like, I just don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, new weapon, it's a sword. Oh.
No.
Like, okay.
Yeah, even first impression on the trailer, that was my like, oh,
Yeah.
there's a lack of at least because you are going to be autoing so frequently on this weapon,
Really?
it does just feel like a sword, and I
Yeah.
think that's another thing.
Do you think that if they changed the animation of it, would that make it feel more distinctive? Do you think like if they is it just essentially that it
It's just a
feels
sword. Yeah.
I think
yeah,
it's a
like,
combination of the visual and also the range threshold of you having to be in melee. Because Revenant is very melee oriented, it doesn't feel like you're doing anything new necessarily. And I don't think the visual is helping. Because people had said like, oh, if it was like a whip or it was a bit more fluid and it was a bit more like raw energy that was a bit more flexible, I think it would have read a little bit better. But what they did decide to go with, I don't think helped in that feeling. But
It's blinding, this thing as well. That's really like a lot on my face. I'm just like, that's too much for me, man. It's like it's worse than Holosmith. I'm just like, good lord. Actually, that's kind of what it is a bit. That's what it feels a little bit like, but not good. Sorry, that sounds awful.
But you know, honest opinions.
I don't get it. Like, it's just like, whoa, is this the tooltip you were talking about?
the third ability.
Oh my god, get a book out. Jesus Christ, that thing is long. I can't.
Yeah, the third ability is
why?
It's a lot, and you never really know what is happening at what time. With the way that this works, so essentially you will use your second and third ability on a target, and then you will auto attack to empower that ability. But because Guild Wars 2 is so fast-paced and the way the UI works, you never really know what stack you're kind of at, or like what threshold, if that threshold even matters. Because all you're ultimately going for is that final bigger effect. So it just bulks up the tooltip quite a bit. So essentially your second ability is a fuse. It's a rift on an enemy target that will explode and grant barrier to allies. The more you auto attack, the stronger that barrier will become. So you go into this rhythm of hit 2, and then all you're doing is auto attacking. And then for your third ability,
which is what I'm doing now,
it has an enemy target, but it's the only other ability that has an ally target.
Yeah.
So
were you quite happy about that when you found out? Like, because I know you like these.
I do like these, but I think this is a really bad skill. I think this is a really bad version of an ally target, because you have to have an enemy to empower that effect. So it's an upkeep. It's also an upkeep on a weapon skill.
Right.
So you'll tether to an ally. One way that this third ability works is you'll tether to an ally. You then have to go back into your auto attack chain to gain like 6 stacks. Once you get 6 stacks, you can then teleport and apply barrier. But barrier is also in a feature where you actually want to preload barrier to actually get use out of it. I feel like there's just a lot of time in between you actually getting your support effects, because it's like a shield. You don't want to shield someone after the damage is done. You want to shield them before the damage comes in. So when you have so much to get through to then get to that shield and to get to that barrier, it feels a little clunky, I imagine, in those like higher stake situations.
Okay, I give you some barrier there. Was that a lot? I got barrier as well. That's 4K. That's actually pretty nice.
I think you brought up a really good point about, like, it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like, autos or like the chains and things in the game are definitely something that are, I think, a good or unique or interesting feature in many ways, at least compared to many other MMOs, right? Where you don't have something like that. But if you don't have a very good visual way of being able to clearly tell what you're building towards, how much you have, as well as, like, I think a big differentiating fact for me on this is that barrier worth building for? Like, that's something where it's like, sure, maybe I need barrier in a situational moment, or maybe I have to, like, really, because of this, anticipate to apply it. So really for me, I'm like, I don't mind if there's some kind of mechanic that is stackable if they have like an actual visual meter that makes it very clear, even if it's something unique. You know, I'm playing the Bladestorm with Warrior here, and of course we got that visual indicator with the gun sword, right? Where like you can see as you're holding it, like how many of the bullets you have. Like if you're gonna have a class or a weapon that has some kind of unique meter building mechanic or something like that, I need a good visual indicator for it. And then it also needs to be something that's worth the build. So like if it's gonna be a support thing, it can't just be something that like I'm gonna use situationally or like in a very specific moment at a very specific time. Like it has to be something that, you know, like when I'm trying to think how to explain this. When you're looking at like the pacing and timings of your support kit, right, or as a healer, there are some things that like, sure, like if I'm gonna give everybody a huge buff that's like a massive amount of different stuff and, you know, might and quickness and like whatever else or whatever unique buff, then like I can build that in a slightly longer way if it's gonna be something that is really impactful as opposed to just like maintaining constant uptime of it. If it's something that's much smaller, like barrier or like, you know, like a barrier in a moment that I need it or stability in a moment that I need it, that's not something that I necessarily want to have in my support kit as like a very long build thing or something that I'm having to like consciously constantly build towards and then sparingly use at really specific moments. Because it's like that should just be something that I'm able to place quickly and responsively on people. Does that make sense? Like
Absolutely.
So like I think it's about kind of taking stock of the different types of pacing of things and like making something that has a build worth it, but also something that you can really clearly tell what you're building towards, how you're building towards it, and then like use it within the actual pace of the fight in a relevant way to you.
That's a very good point. I'm just like, it doesn't. I'm almost like. This wouldn't. I almost to a degree. I'm like with weapons. I'm like, would this make me play the class as well? And I'm like, would it be different enough, or unique enough, or interesting enough to the point where I'm not confused, which is like, you know, I'm not saying it's like patience is a thing, and I get it. You know, I can do that. I used to have to learn abilities and everything else. Like, you know, I was analytical in PvP as well at points, rather than just getting excited all the time. I know that's my thing, but it's just like. Don't like it.
And I do find it strange. And this is where I kind of compared it to Warrior, where Warrior has one ability where it's an ally target, but that ally target effect is immediate and it's very strong. It gives good amount of healing, it gives Aegis protection and unblockable. It's a beefy decision to make with a very clunky ally targeting system as it is current day. But when it comes to the Revenant, you only have one ability where to get that support effect on that third ability, you have to target an ally. And it just feels a little out of place. It takes you kind of out of that momentum of who you're targeting and the way it's so clunky at the current day. It just doesn't feel great. I think if they allowed you to have your second ability, Blossoming Aura, also be applied to an ally target, so that you could decide where your barrier is going to be placed and kind of play with that like straightforward, you're like already in that ally targeting mode, it would maybe be a little bit more cohesive and a bit more approachable. And then I also think just make the auto attack like play into that magic, make it a 900 ranged magic projectile where you could enemy target or ally target. So then you can empower those second and third abilities not just by targeting an enemy and successfully completing those chains on an enemy, but also completing those chains on an ally, because then you could have that distinct flexibility with the kit. I think there is a missing piece within this weapon set to really make me fall in love with it, and I think it is that lack of just ally target cohesiveness. Because if it's clunky, don't go like 1 foot in, 2 feet out. Just go all in.
Yeah.
Just go all in.
I liked Fayas's suggestion even in the chat. Even barrier, sorry, it would almost work better in reverse. Grants barrier, build stacks, and then you can just reapply or like refresh that barrier or something.
Yeah.
Like something like that. Yeah, I think something like that could be more interesting. I think all the stuff that you were kind of saying, like definitely I think could make it feel a little bit more complete. And it is, like we were talking about, I think a noticeable difference between those classes where, yes, there was like a very discernible niche that needed to be filled that they were kind of retooling towards versus trying to sort of release something interesting and different for the other classes. But like you're saying, if you don't commit to it fully, then it's pretty hard. And it kind of leads us to, as well, some of the discussion that you touched on with targeting. I was talking about this on stream because I mean, a lot like you, I actually really enjoy, and I think a lot of us actually enjoy, like, the idea of having stuff that might be a little bit more single target or ally focused, where you can like pick someone, or not have it always just be an enemy thing, or not always have everything just be like a stack on top of me and this is just how it goes. Like, I like the idea of them expanding support and healing in this game to have something that's a little bit more individual, that gets you around to different allies in different ways, or whatever it is. Or helps you support somebody that's doing a very specific role, or I think it opens up more opportunities and potential for design. But a big thing is that there are many things in the game that they've updated, they've refreshed, they've touched on, but one of the things that I really think they need to, especially if they are going to be adding like new weapons, and if we see them, even with more elite specs and things, or redefining or honing in with healing and support and opening up these opportunities, they have to refresh the targeting system in this game at some point, because like, it works, and it's not anything like, the combat is so good in this game in general. But I mean, I'm doing fine with warrior staff, with some of those, by particularly just focusing the portraits, just trying to keep an awareness of where people are and things like that, and as opposed to trying to click on them. But it's the same with like trying to target enemies. When you're tab targeting, it's so erratic, and sometimes it'll just continually return you to something that's nowhere near what you clearly want to be targeting, or it'll like untarget while you're DPSing, or like you're trying to target allies and stuff. There's not really a good efficient shortcut, like your allies are F1 through F4 on your keyboard or something like that, where you can much more quickly jump between them. And so
exactly,
that's something that I think they need to do if they're going to keep having these weapons. And then they need to actually fully lean into those different kinds of play styles and like really realize weapons that
the UI is outdated, like you said. Like the UI is the whole thing is not for this. Like the thing is the things like World of Warcraft Rift and all these other games had was back in the day where you can actually add things like target, for example. So if you had a friendly target for healing and stuff, you could also damage their target. So if you had the barrier, or whatever that thing is called, otherworldly bond, targeted on an ally, you could still attack whilst also doing the things for your ally, right? The problem is that the UI, all of this is out of date. Like it's kind of what Rooker is saying, like right there. Like all of this, they need to engage other systems to fully realize what they have here, because this one skill is ridiculous. Like this isn't a two-handed weapon. This is a one-handed weapon, and there is way too much going on. There's just too much going on, and it feels like they're doing what they're doing on the third skill, what they do over here with your different legend swaps. That's what they're trying to fit a theme in, right? So that's what the feeling is, and obviously with the different things where you can target allies, you can do different things. Yeah, I get that with. Depending on really enemy or ally, but it just feels too much. There's just too much on it.
It kind of does seem like it's like one of those. All right, we know Rev, just on paper, getting a main hand weapon is getting the short end of the stick in this entire thing, because they're getting one single main hand weapon. That means 3 skills. Let's prove everybody wrong, and it's actually very interesting. It's very complicated. But
you can, but they added weapon swap though as well. So it's like
the complication isn't even really worthwhile, because it's like at the first tier, deal increased damage. At the second tier, deal increased damage and apply like slow or whatever, and it just doesn't.
Just have one of those things.
The ally version is just first tier, grant might. Second tier, grant more might. Third tier, you can tell. It's like, well, it's not that. It feels not needed.
It's just
I really
odd.
think that if your tooltip, as I was looking at it on the stream, if your
so
tooltip
big.
literally bridges the entirety of your game screen from UI bar to top of like viewing window, then that tooltip needs to not be that long.
Too much reading. I don't think I've ever seen a tooltip that big before. Like, you've got to give it to Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
they've really
It's
gone
on-
all out
you know,
for the
if
tooltip.
if you look at the Harbinger Elixir
hell, man.
tooltips, those are pretty beefy too.
Yes.
But this one is like really
But they're
long.
telling you
like-
almost the same thing over and over. I am going to
And
switch
it's like-
class, by the way.
And it's like, ultimately, all you're getting out of this ability is if you have an enemy targeted, you pull them. If you have an
Yeah.
ally target, you teleport to them. And it's like,
Yeah, that would be cool.
That's
I'd be down
essentially
for
it.
that. I'm really regretting the name that I made now because now I have to actually type it to delete it. Sorry, everyone.
They really got to add one quick thing to the UI that says when your tooltip goes below your screen and you can't read it anymore, it
Yeah.
moves to the side.
yeah. Because I
Yeah.
try to scroll over. I think with the scepter auto attacks, I think all of those individual tooltip bubbles actually go off the screen and you cannot read the full entire information. I believe that is the case. Which is always a little sad. And especially for auto attacks, usually if there are multiple hits in an auto attack or in a skill, you can right click it to then like go to the next one. At least in traits, you can right click a trait to see what that effect will be. I think that'd be a nice like middle ground.
Yep.
But yeah,
I'm now
It's
going
kinda
on
funny.
Pistol Guardian.
I'm on Mace Ranger.
I'm going to try Thief. Because I was like, totally forgot about the axes. And I
That's
need
what
to
it is,
see
Kip.
what they're like on the
For
floor.
Thief Scepter, you are unable to read the stealth attack. if you
Really?
just mouse over it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, I didn't actually know that. That's
Because it
interesting.
goes past the screen.
Oh, okay. Thief axes. Oh, that's the spinny axe.
I mean, it depends on
Oh,
what you set your
actually-
UI to be. The size of
A
your
little bit.
UI.
I
But
don't
does everyone
actually-
have a 4K
the
monitor?
default, it goes
Interesting.
past the screen.
Yeah.
I don't mind that graphic of the spinning axe. I'm not gonna lie. That's actually not that. That's pretty good. I actually don't mind that.
Yeah, it looks cool. So I think with Thief Axe, my understanding is that it's not that good for PvP yet, but for PvE it's quite good.
On the axe specific.
Yeah.
Oh, they did give
I
you
just-
condition build for this. That's cool. Sorry.
I kind of feel like they stretched one skill ability across 6. Or I guess technically 6.
So
if
is
you
that
count
the
the
problem?
non-dual wield attack.
Is that the big problem they've been trying to do? They've been trying to put too much into these weapons. Do you think? Because that's the feeling I'm getting.
No.
Don't think so.
I think you could put this amount into weapons and it still is
Oh, that's not bad.
good.
I don't think I'm that excited by Thief Axes or Thief Axe.
Why is that? Are you a Thief player?
No, I'm not.
Then maybe that's
I'm not a Thief player.
Actually, yeah, Thief main.
But also, I'm not a warrior player, but I loved warrior staff.
It's just main hand axe, right? Or is it offhand as well?
It's just main hand. And
It's
I
just main
actually
hand,
think
okay.
if they had an offhand, it would have allowed this mechanic to really breathe a bit. Because it just feels I'm gonna be honest, I was so bored playing this weapon because you're just doing like one thing. You throw out axes and then you recall them onto your target.
That's true. That is true.
Great.
And
I
when
can't
it
wait to play
comes-
it for a
The
while.
problem is that the two skills that you get, the dual wielding skills, are both very, very, very similar to each other.
It's just, and even the non-dual, literally, if you just have an axe, the skill is recall axes to your target. It's
Oh.
all the same. And so I was just very bored playing it.
Oh my.
Do
you
I
think
want to
even
play
though
this?
it's good,
You're making me not want to play this.
I don't see
and also if like the pace of it was faster, or like if you were throwing out more axes and they were coming back or something, like would that be more
how many
interesting?
more
or
axes do
engaging,
you
or-
need to have fun?
I think
7,
I need
actually.
20. We need to break the servers. We need to have the rendering crash based off of the amount of axe on screen. And
You were
I
waiting
think
for
we do that
one.
with Norns. I think this to me felt like this could have been a really interesting thief like profession mechanic or something. But it's just I'm like I could see where it could go. But I think within the confines of a weapon, it feels a bit too repetitive.
So wait, so they've done
I
the
don't know
opposite
why.
with this weapon. So that we went from Rev, which is like all the things, to Thief, which is like hardly any of the things. And that's funny because Thief, you would say by the archetype of what it is, you would expect that to be more intricate, right? As well. I'm not saying that it should be more intricate than like Rev, but a Thief is like,
Well,
detailed.
if you want to
and
compare it
kind
to
of
like other thief weapons, main hand weapons,
that's true. Within it, I guess
like,
I'm thinking more about them.
It's not
Yeah,
that
that's true.
much less interesting than them, right? Like, you got Heartseeker, you got slash on dagger.
That's
you
fair.
got- Yeah,
But
and
at
then
least with
where
the
it gets
dual
interesting
wield-
is the dual skills.
Yeah, but I think that's where it falls short. Is that it is just too it is the same across the board.
They need to switch the dual skills up.
And even the auto attack, I don't think the axe actually hones in on a target. I think once you fire it out in a straight line, it'll just go in a straight line. And I had an enemy NPC literally strafe to the left and completely missed the attack. I was like,
Oh.
oh.
Issue too. Yeah, that should.
I was
be-
like, okay.
Yeah.
So does
fix that.
the third skill change a lot with different weapons, or is it like similar
No.
part of it? It doesn't change at all. It doesn't change at all.
No. Okay. One version is Condi, one version is power.
Oh.
And one version, I guess, teleports you behind the target, but ultimately that teleportation doesn't really do anything. It's just it just moves you.
Oh, that's interesting. Because that's
And also the
not
stealth
very-
attack
Teleporting
doesn't
you
even-
is good. Teleporting you is good though, so it makes it so that the axes are more likely to hit.
And you can kind of like no, because I think it hones in on the target. It doesn't hone in on you.
When you recall the axes,
Oh, you mean like when you're in melee, you can actually like hit things with your other abilities?
Oh, the pistol's
no,
pretty good.
like when
'cause
you
it
recall the
doesn't
axes, they
mobilize.
go towards you, don't they?
I think they go towards your target.
Then
Well,
why
we'll
are they
see. Let's go
calling
play it.
recall?
We'll do it.
Yeah,
it's-
go,
well, I think-
Jebro.
Go do it.
Go, Jebro.
Go,
Well,
Jeff.
I mean, it's essentially the same thing because if you're teleporting behind your target and they're coming to you, they're
That's
gonna
what I'm
hit.
saying. That's what I'm
But
saying.
then-
the teleport.
but then your
serves as a
offhand
way to
pistol-
get-
But your offhand pistol is coded where it goes to your target, so it's literally no matter who you're targeting, it's just gonna hit them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's the same.
Yeah.
I'm doing a different fractal because
It's not like you teleport back and they still. It's not like you're gaining distance or anything. It's just like you are now in melee range.
Okay. Okay. Oh wait,
I
have to
did
press-
like the pistol. Well, I put the pistol on there and it's got the immobilize. Wait, did they have the immobilize on there anyway? Anyway, but like the third skill,
Also-
immobilize is pretty good for PvP.
Your stealth attack doesn't even generate an axe, which is kind of weird.
Interesting.
But I guess it is an exploding axe, so like I don't think there would be an axe left if the axe explodes.
One thing I'm disappointed
ghost
in
axe.
is that if I throw
The
out
ghost
the
axe.
axes like that, they're not the axe I have in my hand, and that could be a thing which is going to change because, like, obviously, but like I want that to be the axe. So like right now, I was like,
Or
I'm gonna
wait, maybe I tested it and it did not generate an axe for me yesterday or
Can I
a few
ask
days
you a
ago.
question?
It did not.
I mean, the
I
first
swore it didn't.
the third skill is just a port, basically. it's just a port. Ow! Oh my god! What the f?
We're all good. It's okay. It's okay.
But maybe I killed the target. Does it only generate if your target is still alive?
What? Sorry. Is what
Did
we're doing?
it? Oh, or was I just like bad and I didn't even realize?
Yeah, you're just bad at Guild Wars 2 crew.
Maybe I
That's
just didn't even realize.
We've been trying to not have to tell you this for a really long time.
Oh.
I tell
No, that
you
makes
all the
sense.
time.
That makes sense.
You told them?
I easily forget things. Okay, that's good.
I
I was
fell
worried.
over.
I was like, it doesn't even generate an axe. Okay, never mind. It at least passed the bare minimum. Bless.
I should have gone with a more Conji build rather than whatever this is.
I think there just really wasn't. Maybe it's just not the weapon set for me because I just was not really excited by it. And I guess it's like AoE cleave, which Thief I guess does need. You know, it's nice.
Why am I going for the mithril here?
Kind of
Someone block the vet.
Cleavish.
cleavage.
It's very difficult cleave because it's like you're supposed to I think in theory it's like the thief strategically lays out the axes across the battlefield and then recalls them to pass through a bunch of enemies. But it's like you're moving so often and players and things move so frequently that it's like you don't really have like the time it takes between the setup and the actual activation of it all. Depending on what you're doing, you might not really get a huge effect out of it. So
Yeah.
It just kind of feels a bit lackluster to use, honestly. I think that's primarily what I'm getting here. It just doesn't feel. I think you're right. Like I'm already kind of bored. Like it just doesn't feel very fun already. And I'm just
I also don't think it really feels thief.
Right.
It didn't read thief to me. It felt very almost warrior like.
I can see that. I mean, I could see something like, you know, little like hand axes or things being something that could be kind of more dexterous, trappy, conniving, clevery, especially like you were kind of illustrating with the idea of I lay these all out across the field and then I like pull them in sort of thing. It kind of falls into that sort of rangery territory for me, which feels like it's sort of the, I don't know, like warrior thief kind of archetype-ish. But like you were saying, I think it's something where I like the idea of having stuff that you can put around and then you can like, you know, use or recall or, you know, be clever about how you're positioning it. But there's so much movement in Guild Wars 2 and stuff goes so quickly that the fights where, yeah, you're going to really be able to strategically put that all down if you can probably like count on one hand. And so then the question becomes, how do you make something like that more instantaneous, more dynamic, or more interesting to engage with? You know, is it something where there's kind of like a set spread pattern of those axes and you can toss them out super quick and recall them super fast? Or, I don't know. Or are there like things that you can be doing even as you have like placed something around an area that, you know, then you like ricochet the axes off of or something, but like you're still actively engaging with the class? I don't know.
Sounds like this is an ongoing theme for all of the complaints, I guess, that we have here, is that the mechanics that are on the weapons aren't necessarily bad. They're interesting mechanics, but the payoff for the mechanics should be more impactful for each of them.
Yeah,
Or
sometimes.
in the case of Thief, if it was a bit more versatile, which is kind of why I feel like I was like, oh, this feels like it could have been a great elite spec with the idea of you setting up like a formation of axes. But the fact that it's the way in which you set them up, the payoff is all the same, where they just get recalled onto your target rather than, I strategically put them in a square and I create a wall that is impassable, or a field that electrocutes and stuns enemies if they pass through it. There's not a lot of, I don't think there's enough room for it to really shine and give a lot of interest for what this, I think, could be. Because it's like, you throw them out, you set them up, and you just call them, which will cleave enemies.
I'm feeling it a little bit more now I'm out in the open because I can actually see them. But like,
Oh, that's another thing. Depending on your platform, the axe will just fall off the terrain.
Oh,
really? Interesting.
I heard from someone, I think that is how it works on, like, if you're on a fight.
Oh wow.
That's like like the Dragon Harvest Temple. They might just fall off the edge because I think they need collision.
interesting.
Let me see.
What do you see?
Yep, they do.
So they just
They've just gone. No, they've gone down there though. They've gone down there, so they still exist. So they actually
They're kinda
exist
like,
above lava and stuff.
And also something else.
Oh.
I think it's just them, maybe. They're like elementalist dagger, water dagger auto attack, I guess. They just follow the train.
I would like them to just go back out again. Like if they come back to you and then go back out to where they were, maybe as like a flip over or something. I don't know. Something additional. If they're gonna do the flip over skills, like just go ham on it, right? just give it to everyone. I don't know.
Triple flip over. Have we ever
flips.
had a triple flip over before?
Triple flip over. Wow.
Flip
don't
over.
think so.
Triple flip.
Oh, this could be the one. This could be the one where I die. Ooh.
Also, I don't know if this is like a huge concern, but many of these weapon mechanics have a tooltip associated or a buff icon associated with them.
Yeah.
And we all know how like the buff bar can get really crowded, and I don't know if it's a huge concern of mine, but it's just like it'll be sometimes a bit difficult to see how many axes you have, I guess, or you'll just kind of instinctively know that you've thrown out a bunch.
You're in the world.
But you know how messy the visuals can get. Yeah,
Wait,
in
how
Wolf's
many
like,
can you throw out?
I just looked at the screen and I knew how many. 6. You can have up to 6 in the world.
6. Oh, that's kind of cool, I guess. Okay, I didn't realize that. I didn't look at the tooltip, apparently. Which is not
So yeah, I
unusual
guess
for
you
me.
can like do 2. You throw out like 6, and then you recall them for like the maximum effect.
Okay. 2, and you hit them. You can hit them when they go out, right? They do hit when you go out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Come back. Hurry up. It feels really slow, I think, is the thing for me. Like the. Okay. Oh no, it's because I'm running out of initiative.
That would do it.
Yeah. Maybe using less initiative would be fun. More fun. I don't know. I could just. I'm not really using a great build, so you know.
Kill that thermal core. Kill it with fire.
Come on, come
I've been.
back. Come back.
Isekai says, I found the dual mace for the Soul Beast to be dope. I'm currently running Dual Mace Ranger. And I think Dual Mace Ranger is good, but I do have a little bit of umbrage with the main hand mace, because it was like, it's like your main support option. But your auto attack chain doesn't heal, it just applies vigor. I think that if it had a little bit of healing, it'd be good, because your only real heal is actually your second ability, Flourish. But another issue is the radii is very inconsistent. Your auto attack chain, the final hit is a 240 radius for your ally effect, but then both your second and third ability are smaller at 180 range instead of 240. So it's weird to go large on your auto attack and then go really small on the other 2 abilities.
Okay.
But I like offhand mace a lot. I think the mace is good. But the one thing I was saying, I was saying this yesterday. The mechanic for Ranger is your nature's strength. You build up these stacks of nature's strength, and then you'll use another ability that isn't your auto attack to consume those stacks to get really big and do more damage and more healing. I'm gonna be honest. This might as well not be a mechanic. I know I'm never honest. This might as well not be a mechanic, because I at no point really pay attention to it at all. It's kind of something that just happens, because it also resets all of your mace attack abilities.
Right.
So I guess theoretically you could like use your 2, 3, 4, 5 and then auto attack, and then use your second ability again to get them all back again. But for the most part, the way you're just flowing through combat, I don't even notice it's there, really.
That's a shame.
That's unfortunate. Oh, actually, the projectile stuff on Thief, like if you can think about the 6 projectiles that come back, you can do a lot of condition removal, actually. And a lot more extra. Maybe the axes will work well with fields. I wonder.
That is something people were saying is like through like a dark field, and they're like blinding so many people. And then you can like chain that with some of the blind traits in Thief that like do extra damage in lifesteal.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting. There's some nice damage on it at times, though. I mean, I'm not running like a ridiculous build or anything, but maybe there's some more to this. I think there could be more to maybe the projectile part of this, and maybe that's part of the intention as well. Like that would be interesting too. It definitely feels better than the Revenant weapon, which is definitely not my favorite right now. I'm not going to go through all of them, obviously. We'll do one more, and then we'll probably maybe be close to ending as well. But like generally, is there any other weapons? Chat as well if you want to see anything specific. I might try the mace. I do have the rifle actually ready as well. I'm really sad that like when I create characters, sometimes I create better ones than the ones I've got.
Yes, I agree. I was just talking about this the other day.
She looks like a ranger. She looks cool. Like, yeah, she's got a hood and stuff. She just looks rad. And then there's my main one. She's got a bit more glitter and glam on her face. Okay. So chat. Try warrior stuff. Okay. Oh, brain melting pistol. I want to brain melt myself.
I'm gonna switch back to a different character.
I would love to brain melt myself. That's my favorite.
Your favorite. Oh dear. Okay, let's go for it. Well, actually, no, I'm not gonna brain melt myself. I'm just gonna go for warrior stuff instead because I was kind of interested about that. Let's go for randoms. So far, like, is this underwhelming so far or not? Like, how hype are we right now about these weapons?
The axe or the entire beta period?
Yeah,
it really depends on which one you're talking about. Yeah.
I think as a collective, as a collective group, these weapons are not my favorite set if I compare them to Heart of Thorns, Path of Fire, and End of Dragons. They felt it felt like they were trying to be a bit more complex than I think they necessarily needed to be. I don't think every weapon needed to have that like special mechanic attached to it. In some instances I forget they're there. In some instances I'm like, it just feels like it's doing too much. But with that being said, I do think we have some diamonds, specifically like Guardian pistols were really fun to use. I loved Warrior a lot.
That's cool.
And I actually think despite, everything about Elementalist being so complex all the time, like with Weaver and Catalyst and the Ellie pistols getting that like bullet mechanic, I actually did really enjoy Elementalist pistols. I think it's really fun and it gives you some choice without being too constraining because the cooldowns are fairly short and you're always swapping into different attunements anyways.
Right.
I think the pistols for Ellie were really fun to use.
Okay, cool.
No, Boots, you please, Boots, after you, please.
I would say no. I kind of agree with you in that it's obvious that they were trying to make these more interesting weapons than you would usually get with an elite spec. Like every elite spec weapon we've got has been slightly more interesting than core weapons, but not as complicated or as trying to be as interesting as the ones we're getting now. And that's obviously because since we're not getting elite specs, they want to try to give us something in return anyway. And it's hit and miss. It's just they're all hit and miss. So like some of them work, some of them don't work as well. Even some of them that work, I would like them to have the payoff for their mechanic to be greater than what they are. But overall, I like that they tried, and I want them to keep trying. is my final takeaway.
With these specific, okay. Yeah. I'm getting more about over to me while we do this, so good conversation, keep going.
No, I think I agree with everybody. I think I was maybe a little bit more on the positive side of it, but to be fair, I have not like rigorously tested all of them. And so most of what I was just hearing from the community and everything was that there were some really good ones that people really genuinely wanted to see for various classes and that they were excited about. You know, I've particularly heard a lot of chatter about, you know, the Mesmer Rifle and about the staff for Warrior, Pistols with Guardian. So there are like things about it, kind of like Kroof was saying, little standouts, right? Where I think that folks really genuinely are happy about what that weapon is trying to bring to the table or is bringing to the table, and that it like clearly showed that they were aware that, hey, yeah, there are still these areas that we could, you know, reevaluate things, rework things, and try new things. And having played, you know, Warrior staff today, I do actually really like it, and it might be one of the things that gets me to play Warrior, because I have never really like totally clicked with it, but I really enjoy this kind of playstyle, and I think it's a fun weapon. So in those ways, I think it's a big success, and I'll be curious to see how they iterate off of it following the beta. Like, are they going to significantly change any of these? I didn't have a chance to tune into the live stream that they did. Did any of you? Did you all?
No, I didn't.
I did.
Oh, the live stream.
I did watch it.
I watched that.
Was it good?
So I'm curious, yeah, even from like what they were talking about there, if there's anything that they, you know, just seemed, we're so confident in this thing, or if it seems like there's wiggle room for them to want to, you know, take some of the feedback maybe that comes out of this initial period and then adjust them more aggressively following it.
They definitely said that they're listening to feedback, and the current balance isn't going to be the balance in the future necessarily at all. I don't know if they were very I don't know if they like said they were confident in any of the weapons necessarily. I don't think they like said this one's a banger, you know.
Yeah, it was all just very like, this is information, just straight up information.
Yeah,
and I didn't. Yeah, that's another thing. I didn't really feel like there was a huge like standout. They were like, this is like, look at what we. It was very like,
they didn't feel proud. They didn't feel like really like excited about this stuff as well.
No, that's not
necessarily. I think in the format it was very much just like straight information, but with other things like elite specialization showcases, those were so much more involved that you can really get into the intricacy of how it was built, and you know, those moments.
Yeah, but you know how it is, like there's like memes involved these days, so like they'd be talking about gormandizing and stuff like that, you know, like
the one thing that is the most prominent to change are probably the elementalist skill names, because fun fact, they are all alliterative except for like one or two abilities. So it'll be like Pebble Piercer, Water Wash. It's just like that double. And it was very, very nice. But there's a couple that I think one of the abilities is called Elemental like Unload. And you're just like, no.
Like if you are going to do alliteration, do alliteration.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to say about the Elementalist pistol is that it really shows that there has only been 3 classes in the game with a pistol as a main hand before Elementalist pistol comes out, because it's kind of hard to use past assets when you only have 3 classes with 3 skills per pistol, and then you have to make 18 new skills. So you have to make double the amount of skills that existed previously.
Yeah.
So all the pistol skills feel very similar to each other when you use them, unfortunately. But I don't know if that's going to change in the future, if they're going to try to tweak it up a bit to make them feel a little more different.
I think the bullet mechanic added a little something to that for me while I was playing
sure, the bullet mechanic, but
or just terms
the
of
actual
the
animation of the visual, yeah. Like you'll see, you know, the color of the bullet change and like fire and whatever come out, but the character itself doesn't really move differently.
I mean there's very few ways of actually shooting a gun, unless you want to like, you know, do a backflip and then shoot the gun, or like, you know, go between your legs and shoot it.
Well, I mean,
you should.
Or you like you kick your leg up and go.
The big impactful shots, you should do stuff like that so that there's
I agree. Yeah.
You could do that for sure. But like,
or like
I know what you
down,
mean. I know what you mean though. Okay, let's do one more cheeky one, and then gonna drag out.
Cheeky. What if I want to do a not cheeky one? What if I want to do like a
you can also do
no cheeks.
A non-cheeky one.
All cheeks put away. Just
the
kind of
cheeks
run.
don't exist. They are oblivious.
It's weird because piercing pebble does not pierce, and the warrior staff valiant leap does not leap. It's very
It's not even a
strange.
pebble.
Strange.
It's a bullet.
Oh, weird.
It's
Okay.
a bullet. Maybe it's a small bullet, and it's just like a pebble.
I
Yeah,
like
pebble,
I
pebble.
like
It's
that.
the cereal. Fruity Pebbles.
I like what Rook said about the. Oh my god.
About no cheeks?
No. Wait, what's the fractal which has loads of enemies in it, but isn't the thingamajig one?
Your butt.
You know what? The Char one does have a lot of enemies in it.
That's true. All right, let's do that.
We're all gonna be Char for the final. Oh, wait, no. We gotta change it.
Urban background.
Fine.
I don't know why
Change.
that got me so
No,
good. That really got me.
It's almost time to end, I think, is the
think-
answer.
I think maybe. All right, everybody, let's go get it. Jebro's butt.
Thank
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
Thank
there's
you,
a lot of- there's a
Ocon.
lot
I
of
did
people
not
there.
present for that. Ocon, thank you very much for the build. It helped me out there. Tip to the limit lets you berserk quickly. Wait, what's that?
But Jebro,
Oh.
you never told us how you felt.
Yeah, how do you
Yeah, how do you
feel?
feel?
I mean,
Oh.
I think I'm still. I'm interested. I'm underwhelmed right now. Honestly, I haven't tried
Aw.
everything. I like the engineer. I don't mind the engineer Shortbow. Thief stuff was like, the axes just didn't. You know what? I think in my mind I'm also mini comparing them to elite specs, which is unfair. Like that's just really unfair. And well, the funny thing is now I'm playing staff and I'm like, oh, this is actually fun. Like, you
Yeah.
know, there's movement, there's like mobility, there's boons, there's like I'm playing a healer, but like I'm still feel very warrior-esque. It feels on theme for a warrior, but they've slanted the staff into that, whereas like whoever said earlier, like the axe doesn't feel thief like, whereas this is like, well, actually this is kind of actually damn fun right now. And like I'm feeling it, like, so that's where they want to go. They want to listen to the feedback about things like the warrior and the successes they've had and try and transfer that a little bit over. I just to some of the themes. I think they're gonna rework a lot of the weapons. I mean, they're not gonna have much time, so they're gonna have some of the stuff. We're just gonna have to kind of lump it, right? Like animations and like what it is, like an axe for free. That's just gonna have to be a thing. So I think I need to try the maces as well for Ranger. I feel like I've tried the things which people aren't fans of. The Guardian pistol, I was like, oh yeah, that's not bad. That's cool. I probably won't play it much on Guardian. I play Guardian quite a lot, but it takes away from the idea of what I feel like a Guardian is. So it's just a preference. It's just like that. That's all. I might play with pistol. I might play pistol shield though, because it feels very engineer-like, right? So that because it's got similar like flipping animations and stuff. So a pistol shield Guardian would be really fun. What else is there? Oh yeah, Revenant. That's a mess. That scepter is just a mess. They need to rethink what they're doing there with that.
I haven't
much.
played Revenant Scepter, so I can't defend it. But I'd like to defend it. I just haven't played it.
Okay, good.
And how would you go about defending it?
Yeah, how would you had you
Yeah.
played it?
Lasers are cool.
Well, I mean that's
It's
that's
not
fair.
really. Is it a laser though?
It's a laser sword, yeah.
Kind of a laser sword. I mean, the
Aw,
thing
that's
is
cool.
that I almost
Laser
would have.
sword?
I feel like if they had gone full into that aesthetic where you're using a scepter, but you're channeling magic through it and it's taking different weapon forms, where like one of the
Golly.
abilities you have a big hammer, one of the abilities it, almost becomes sort of like a bow or something. And I think there are ways that they could have really leaned into it. Of course, it's tricky because like we said, these are not elite specializations, but I think that might have given it a little bit more diversity rather than just like, oh, the first one is just a sword and we already have multiple swords. If the intent was that the scepter becomes channeled weapons, or even if, I mean, like with Revenant, there's so much potential there too, because like, depending on what spirits you have, right? Like those spirits, whichever one you're channeling, could affect the weapon manifestations. I think that would be cool, like based off of the legend that you're sort of
that was one of the ideas,
evoking.
yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it feels like maybe there was kind of a sort of an attempt at that, and to give it something that felt a little bit cool and unique, because a scepter in and of itself sometimes is like, oh yeah, I've just kind of got a small stick. Like, in fantasy, you know what I mean? It's
That's
kind of
funny.
like why a lot of fantasy doesn't have wands as prevalently
It's true. A lot of people
anymore.
don't fantasize about having a small stick.
They don't. No,
I
they don't.
love wands.
I thought you were gonna say you.
I knew
love
you'd say
swords.
that.
I
knew you'd say that.
mean, I would never say that.
I am really enjoying this third ability on Warrior, actually. The
Yes!
running
You're
too.
fun.
Like,
Yeah,
I think that's
it's
actually
very
my
fun.
favorite. Like, it's no matter where you are, you run to that person and you do a thing. Like, it's oh wait. Oh, my support is coming through. Sorry, I revived an ally. Whee! Exciting. But like, maybe I should have healed you so you didn't go down in the first place.
Well, but no, it was impossible. They all charged.
Oh, okay, fair play. Thank you for that. But like, that is just a cool touch, really. Oh, ow! Don't hurt me. Okay, let me just run to you. Boom.
One
Well,
thing,
that's
one
actually
little
pretty
thing about
fast.
the Ranger maces that I had mentioned with its mechanic of nature's strength, it is visually you grow much larger. And I just can't
yeah.
help but feel like that mechanic would have fit Untamed so well. And I was just remembering how we were like talking about when you unleash and you're an Untamed, it felt like,
I mean, you
okay,
can use
what
it
happens?
with Untamed, right? I mean, I guess.
You can, but I think that mechanic of getting like empowering yourself and like growing into a large hulking beast would probably fit Untamed more than just this weapon set. Because it is also
Yeah.
drawing at how frequently you just get large and then immediately small, and then large
Oh.
and then small.
How long does the enlargement last?
I think like 4, 5
Longer
seconds.
than a blue pill.
Five
Sorry.
seconds. I was gonna say depends on who you're with, but it's 5 seconds, and it's 25% increased damage and increased outgoing healing.
Sorry. If you don't know what blue pill is, look it up.
Wait, sorry. Did you just say what I think you just said? If you don't know what a blue pill is, look it up.
Yeah.
Just Google
I didn't
blue
even
pill.
like notice the extra punniness there. That was very good. Again, I love when I did it again. I'm sorry, Boots. Actually, really loving this. The staff is great. Okay, that they don't need to do anything to it. Maybe I don't know, but like
Water field.
Oh, the water field.
Plastic.
Yeah,
What
that
would
would be
you
cool.
do?
I don't know.
Does the warrior just hawk a big loogie out and it's like a 600 water field radius?
I mean, maybe you got a bucket of
well,
water
like
and you just throw it somewhere.
burst skill, the burst skill is just like a blast heal, right? You'd hit people and do a heal around you. Why not drop
Yeah.
a water field when you do the
I will
burst?
say the burst is a little boring.
Yeah.
A burst is maybe a touch. It could
Oh,
be a
what's the
touch more
burst?
exciting for the burst, but yeah, it also defaults all of you to Bladesworn, so you don't actually get the original
Turn the
burst
leap
skill.
into a blast.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool. I don't mind that last. That could be a little bit more exciting, yeah. So, let's try it. I can't try it, I've got no enemies. Oh no, wait, it didn't do anything.
What did
Okay.
you do?
Full of sweat that heals, says Smudgem in the chat. Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
up
just
for that.
really sweaty.
Yeah, you're so sweaty. You've been working so hard. You flex and you just
The ability is called Sweat Gamers, and
sweaty gamers.
it gives you. It's a water field, and it poisons everyone around you and blinds them.
Excellent.
There was a suggestion for like you hit the ground and it like makes like a water geyser bubble up or something from like under the ground that
Yeah.
like breaks it.
Fracking.
Exactly. There's water all of us right now.
Proof. Fracking. Oh, the best score isn't too bad. I like that it's pretty instant and it just does exactly what you need it to do, which is just like pretty much heal and do weakness. I like that. It's got that weakness part as well.
I'm also sad that the dual mace, the 5th ability where you're the bongo drums, that it is not a blast finisher, because I want to be blasting 4 times in a field.
That would
Might
have
be
been
strong,
cool,
but I don't want to
actually.
do that. That would have been nice, but
Okay.
I think it's a very mixed bag.
All of the weapons or just the ranger?
All the weapons together. It's like you got there's some really good ones and there's some that I'm like, I don't know if I would really play that. But
I'm kind of glad. I am glad that I got to try that warrior stuff. So good suggestion, peeps. That is fun. I would genuinely play that, especially with shouts and whatnot on me doing healing and then banners. Like it looks pretty.
I was playing a
good.
might sharing support because you can also every time you grant might you heal yourself. We might be seeing some very tanky bruisery
I
staff
think
warriors in World
I
versus World.
I think that's going to be a very, very true. And PvP, I can see that being a bit of an
it used
issue.
to be able to be a very tanky bruisery thing as a warrior, and now it's just extra.
Yeah, someone said it just then in chat as well. Kip says, I think you're right. You might just see a bunch of warriors just running around like. The projectile hate is going to be back with a vengeance. Projectile hate, man. That was back in the day. I mean, it's not that bad now because Scrapples don't have like movable domes, but like, like projectile hate. Oh my God. That's going to be nasty. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about it even with like just a nice sustainable kind of build with like open world stuff. I feel like there's got to there'll be some good iterations of that, where like, you've got that kind of strong heal and the things that you can do, but also the strength of the warrior, which is, I think, satisfying. It's a lot of fun to play.
It's mobility, like there's that kind of there's the leap, which is quite cool. There's the dash, like you don't have to have someone targeted to use it, which is cool.
Just a targeted, like a ground targeted leap on an 8-second cooldown is just glorious.
I think that's great. I like that. I didn't even use the pull much. I really like that. That's cool
Also,
because that gives you the idea of being a tank specifically.
The golden bubble when you leap. That's the visual. My one critique for warrior is I want that golden light bubble to be more of a consistent visual throughout all of the healing rather than like blue because it reads a little guardian.
Blue?
Gold rather than blue is...
Gold is good. That's
Gold
the
is
color of warrior though, isn't it?
Warrior, yeah.
No, but on its other attacks, like the auto, the burst, the fifth ability, it's all blue.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that makes sense. Oh man, I really like that animation. That leap is so good. Okay, and also just like the pull animation. That's cool.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that is probably the best one I've played so far. That is the most fun because I'm literally just going through them, using them, and also I just really like the staff animations from Daredevil, which are in there as well, which are really cool.
I think the auto is a new animation. I don't remember having.
I think you might be right, actually.
Yeah, I don't.
I think it's a new staff strike.
Because it was like lat normally, wasn't it? I thought the first hit maybe on Thief.
It just looked really good. It looked really like impactful.
Also, this weapon just looks really good as well. So.
Bench. Bash.
Thunk.
Oh man. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Whee! I'm out.
I got bongo.
Let me show me your bongos.
My back shot sounds like bongo. I got 18 seconds now.
18 seconds.
You wanna?
Okay, so they've got work to do. And when is this supposed to be out by? Third quarter.
The next update.
Oh dear. And they've got.
That's in January or February, right?
It's gonna be
like
Jan.
February, probably.
Oh, is it Feb? Wait, when was the last come out?
It was November, right? December.
Okay, right. December,
January, February.
So February would be better.
Like late Feb.
Yeah, February would definitely be better. They've got time, but the rest, we're in December now, so I mean,
yeah. They're gonna be gone for like 3 weeks for.
They're gonna be gone for like 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks, I would say. I wouldn't say. I mean, they'll probably start doing. Remember when they put a beta in? I would have assumed that maybe that beta wasn't even the latest. Maybe.
But here's the thing about holidays is that about 2 weeks before holidays you check out, and then you really get back to work 2 weeks after holidays.
That is absolutely true.
It's really 6 weeks of holidays.
I think they've got a lot to do, but I also feel like it's not. Some of it's not. I don't really know if it's
maybe release the ones that are ready.
I mean, I wouldn't actually be adverse to that. I would
that feel bad?
No. I think people would definitely scream about it because you know what Guild Wars 2 is like. But like, you know, I mean, have you seen the stuff about hero points right now? I mean, good lord.
We didn't even talk about
Oh my god, dude.
God.
I'm just like, I've been, Twitter has been wild for me this week.
My main takeaway is, I mean, I don't care, but why put it in the game?
I agree. I feel my thing is I feel no emotions regarding this because I'm like, I'm not gonna buy it. I don't.
I'm not.
But also, I kind of understand the sentiment. I like.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah,
It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It's
It's not egregious. It's not egregious.
No.
It's
Detox
just
said it
People
best.
have
makes
blown
me
it up.
question.
Way
It's not
too much.
egregious. It just makes me question their decision-making process a little bit because it's like, why? Why put it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's-
Well, Elder Scrolls has a similar system where they
Yeah.
you pay for shrines and stuff so you can get hero shards, which is the same as hero points, and people buy them. It's a convenience thing. It's like an XP booster.
Yeah.
It's funny to me because. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the level 80 boost is so much more of a pay to win than hero points,
Absolutely,
in my opinion.
absolutely.
The thing is, though, to me,
just so
I just
funny.
don't think any of them are pay to win. I mean,
That's
like,
the same.
they do advance your level, right? But if anything, you're like, it's kind of just a pay to convenience, sort of pay to unnecessary, kind of.
Yeah.
But with like the level 80 boosts at the very least, like I get it. Many of us, even you're coming in, maybe you play a ton of MMOs and you're just going, I really don't want to start at like the most basic. I want to have more. Maybe you have a bunch of alts and you're like, I really don't want to have to like level everything from scratch. Like there's a lot of different things, and there's always this conversation when level skips get introduced into any MMO where people are very upset about it and they're like, they should have to play the game to learn it. But the thing is that regardless, if you get a level 80 or you get all your hero points, right?
Yeah.
Any person can run around and farm hero points to unlock their
It's
class
not
and their
everyone.
elite spec in like 30 minutes, if even. And
I think
it doesn't
yeah, go.
actually teach you anything. Like it's one of those things where whether you
You're not
unlock
buying
it,
power.
well, yeah, like whether you unlock it 3 months down the road or you unlock it like where you are, you still have to learn how to play the elite specs and you still have to learn how to play the game. And it's not like by buying all your hero points you suddenly skip and they drop you into raids. Like you still have to play the base game,
Yeah.
and you still have to play like all the other content. So to me, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I agree in that. I'm just like, I don't really think this was a necessary thing to put in because hero points are everywhere and they're in abundance. But I mean, are there some people that will buy this? Sure, but is it something that is game breaking, or that if you've unlocked an elite spec and you bought the hero points and somebody else has unlocked the elite spec and they didn't, is it something where they're, because they spent real money, they're more powerful than you? Like, no, not at all. You both come into the elite spec, have the abilities, and have to learn, and there's nothing about your
it's
stats or
just
anything.
time.
There's
that are
already level
skewed,
80
so-
boosts in the game, so it's
It's just exactly. It's the
I think-
same thing. It's like it's
I
just
think,
time based. Yeah.
it's again, it's not egregious. I think honestly, I think that what you just said, Rook, probably didn't even feature that highly into their decision making process for this. I think what may be featured more prominently is the fact that you could purchase a hero point marks of hero point. You could just purchase hero points through world versus world. Like you don't actually have to do the hero points anyway in the game.
Yeah.
You could just purchase them through world versus world. So the fact that that already exists, probably they were like, okay, what's the big deal if it's in the gem store as well? But on top, for me, it's just, I don't think it's gonna sell very well. I don't know who's gonna buy. Like, very few people will go to the gem store and say, "Hey, this is something that I need." And because of that, why bring upon this discussion onto yourself by putting in the gem store in the first place? The fact that it's not going to sell that well.
I just don't think. I think it's an easy thing they've created. All it is like literally like unlock hero point, bang. You don't have to create any art for it. You don't have to create any modeling for it. You don't have to do any of that. Bit of coding and then probably done. It can't be that difficult to put in. Like that's what they do in loads of games. Just put systems in. the thing that gets me is that people was the fun argument that's been coming out this week, which has been, other than people getting confused with what pay to win and pay to for convenience has been people saying that they're going down a slippery slope, and I'm like, no, they're not. We literally just came out of the fact that they've just raised over $1 million for children. They are one of the biggest and most loud LGBTQIA plus community supporters in gaming. They are literally doing awesome work and giving us so many good systems. The game is so cheap. And you get so much. It's just ridiculous. Like, people just go wild. And I'm just like, how can you even be like, this is nothing, man. You need to go play some other games, dude. Like,
yeah, not to mention, they just put in more ways than ever to get things even that were previously cash shop exclusive, or to even just get gold in the game. I mean, with the Wizard's Vault, it's a completely unpaid battle pass equivalenty kind of system, right?
Yeah.
But it's all completely free. You can literally just buy gold on it.
Yeah,
you could just save that gold and just buy things from the gem store.
Yeah, and you just don't have to buy it.
You don't. And like, you know, for a long time, there was a constant discussion about the fact that mount skins were gem store exclusive. And now with this expansion, we have our first acquirable in-game mount skins. So it is, I don't know, it's always tough because I think that a lot of folks look for things to just be very upset about and to like use as something to like fling mud at a company. And I really am not saying that this isn't something that doesn't have aspects that are critiquable about it, because for sure, and I've heard many people make compelling observations about, well, how does this even look to new players that know nothing about how easy hero points are to get, but then they come into the game and they see that you can just buy all of those. Like, and I'm like, okay, no, I get it. That impression, or Boots, like you were saying, why even bring this discussion when in reality, I don't even know if this is really an item that people are going to probably be buying just in astronomical quantities. I'm sure people will buy it.
Going on the gem store and it being like the first thing they see and be like, "Ooh, I want to get this." It's so unlikely that people are gonna buy it. Like, look for this and buy this on the gem store.
That's the thing. Like, you know, the reason. Some of the big reasons that people play Guild Wars 2 is because you don't have to spend much money. That's one of the reasons that a lot of people, it's very accessible. The chance they're going to spend money on this is very low. Even new players, they might not even know what Hero Point is. So, like, you know, like what Boots says is even more true. It's like, do you know what I mean? There's so many things in the game. They're just going to be like, they'll farm gold for it. It's 50 for one. It's not like the end of the world. It's just there's so many more toxic behaviors, and then everyone's losing their crap about this, and then I'm like, dude, go lose it over flipping Black Lion keys at least. Like, that's the most like awful system they have. It literally promotes like gambling. Like, I mean, out of anything. I was just like, and actually someone made a really, really good point as well. We're not going to go too much longer. They said that it feels like misplaced anger because they feel let down by Secrets of the Obscure, and I'm like, I guess unconsciously maybe, but like, it's still stupid. It's just my opinion.
I do like that we have a community that is very keen on keeping Guild Wars 2 to its core and not becoming a pay-to-win game. I do like that there is this fervor that people are aware and are willing to speak up. I think that is actually really important to have in any gaming community.
Important to have,
I think
but it's just not even
in
close
this
to pay to win,
situation, I think it was just maybe a little misplaced to the extent that it got to. I think if the conversation was just like, why did they put this in, and it stopped there, that would have been fine. But
no, it's gone way.
I don't necessarily see
level 80 character to use a level 80 boost.
No.
I don't think so.
Is level 80 boost more or less pay to win?
That's what we're talking about. Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think the level 80 boost is far more significant, in my opinion, right? Because that's but it's just,
and you get all those hero points too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You get all the hero points. So it's just the argument is mute.
It's not for me. It's not a step forward in pay to win Guild Wars 2 necessarily. We're still at that level of they're skirting the line.
Well,
it's
pay
fine.
to win. Well, the funny thing is that pay to win came in years ago because companies put raid gear on their stores. Literally put
I mean, we're never
items
gonna
that were
reach
in-
the mobile game kind of equivalent
Bio-legendary.
situation.
That's why it came in, and then people are talking about time. I'm like, dude, like this is not. I'm not getting flipping ascended armor from the Black Lion Trading Company. That is
If
pay
you play
to
the
win.
Chinese version, you could.
Oh, that's true. Actually,
Well,
true.
it's also a very different. That's such.
Yes.
a
Now
different
you could
environment,
say
right?
that you can
Which
go
I always
on
look at
and
it with
you go on there,
fascination.
you buy gems, and then you trade the gems for gold, and then you can buy a legendary and whatever you want off the trading post. Technically, you could say that's pay to win, I guess, but you're not buying the
Kip's
actual
got a good
item.
point.
But also, this game isn't a gear grinding game, so it's
Exactly.
like no one's
Yeah.
ever going to really be better than anybody.
It's just silly. It's just silly. It's all silly. But anyway,
Anyway,
And I
Good
see,
times.
I see in the chat, Yukon making the observation. I think that raiders will happily buy this from the safety of their aerodrome. And it's one of those things where I had a thought where I was like, oh, you know what? I mean, yeah, I guess maybe if there was something where, I don't know, we really did need somebody to have whatever class and an elite spec, like, you know, when I was like, oh, sure, I'll start firebranding for our group or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, oh my gosh, I didn't have time. I forgot. You know, I think somebody was saying they did the math when I was streaming the other day, and it was like roughly $13, $12.50 or something to essentially unlock an elite spec. And
Oh.
kind of expensive.
it's a little. I mean, I think just to get all the amount that you need. But that's assuming you don't already have a bunch that it's just like you're just sitting on, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's less money than a job skip in Final Fantasy XIV, for example, which is $25, and that essentially buys you kind of the equivalent, which is, you know, whatever job was released or whatever thing
Right.
you might want that you just want to like skip up to current level. So I mean, it's again, it's one of those things where I really don't think that it is the end all be all. There are some things that, again, yeah, you can kind of raise a brow at it a little bit or just be like, I don't really think that was necessary. But when it comes down to it, new players have access to plenty of hero points just everywhere the moment they set foot in this world. And as you keep going through the game, there are many other hero points. And so it's something where if it was something that was really hard to get or hard to achieve or like, then I think sure you're kind of.
I mean, there's the Heart of Thorns hero points, I suppose.
Those ones are rough. Those ones are rough.
I would say,
Honestly,
you know
yeah.
what this entire thing is? This is the devs telling the people who do hero point trains, you got to stop what you're doing. You're ruining the game.
and
You
that's a
gotta stop
joke
it.
the Boots
You're
is
cutting
saying, by the
into
way.
profits.
Because they definitely
Stop
don't
it.
think
Get
that.
out of
That
the
is
game,
not-
hero point train.
That is not a content. Go play strike missions.
Yeah,
That
you're
is
worse
not
than
a
AFK
content.
farmer.
JK, I said JK. I was joking. I said JK.
You said JK.
Oh my god.
You said JK.
The Reddit forums, I can hear them. Oh,
You assume that anyone on Reddit watches this. I mean, there aren't they? You never know.
Everybody who organizes hero point trains, stop playing this game.
No, you're a
Get out of
legend.
here.
Thank you for doing it.
You're amazing.
You're a legend. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. I think generally we generally had fun today, as we always do on the podcast. There's some weapons which are a hit. There's some weapons that are a miss, and then there's some weapons that are also there.
That's very
Like,
This is a
accurate.
good summary. It was good.
they you know, they exist, and they're definitely a thing. I'm excited to see the changes, hopefully, in the come along with those. And I'm gonna go and watch Kroof's tier list of all the weapons and find out what's going on.
the comments are already coming, and I'm having an interesting time. I'm like, ooh.
Oh god. Oh god.
No,
Yes.
no, no. I'm like, I want to respond. I love conversation. I'm excited.
I like to wait until the weapons are out before I do anything with them.
But that's why I branded it as a first impressions video.
That's
Ah,
fair.
That's
Smart
exactly what I
public
did.
good.
With
Big
the
disclaimer.
Shortbow. I was like,
I said, disclaimer, I'm big dumb, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but
That's what
it's
I
my
do for-
thoughts.
Like
That's what I do for everything. Yeah.
Honestly, that boots bad builds. Why do you think it's
Yeah.
bad builds?
So I don't really know what I'm talking about, but
good. I'm
Please
so
tell me
glad that we
what
have
to
so
think.
much intellectual conversation on this podcast on a
I wish
weekly
we-
basis.
Like, Jebro, at some point you're gonna have to do like an intro thing where, like, like music plays and there's like little audio snippets of us kind of thing where it's like the Lightbringers podcast, and then you get like cool little cuts, and one of them is just like, I'm big dumb. I don't know anything.
I like blue.
Wait, that's our reality TV intro line.
We've got a lot of clips. I could probably do that. Yeah, well, there's another clip. There you go. Stop HP trains. Actually, can you not I don't want that clip as a thing. I don't want that.
The problem is a lot of people never realize when I'm sarcastic.
Because you're just so kind and good-natured, Boots. Everything you say sounds kind and good-natured.
I know. I'm gonna watch back this clip and try to see if I could tell how sarcastic I'm being.
Uh-oh.
Okay, let's see.
All right, do it. We'll do an outro while you do. Rookery, tell us what you do, where you do it.
Hey, I'm Rook, and I'm big dumb, and I don't know anything about anything.
That is the best outro you've done. Most professional. 23.
Thank you. I thought it was really professional as well and very accurate. You can find me being a big dumb on my own channel at twitch.tv Rookery. That's ROOKURI. You can find me on YouTube at the same, and you can find me on Twitter at Rookery_. There will be some announcements this week, depending on when you are listening to this, this upcoming week, about some events and stuff that are happening, and I'll be casting some Final Fantasy XIV PvP Saturday and Sunday night.
Nice.
Tomorrow and Sunday, again, depending on when you're listening to this. So keep an eye out. We've got a lot of stuff. We're heading into the holidays, and next year is a new one, so there's going to be a lot more to come.
Ooh, New Year's, new things.
A whole new year already?
Good.
Stop it.
I'm not sure if we've all had a good time this year, but it's definitely been a year. It was there.
It's been a good year.
It was there.
I've had some good things happen this year.
Yes. Good.
That's great.
I'm glad. Cruz.
So happy to hear.
Every single Friday when the Lightbringers podcast is happening, a good thing happens to me.
Oh.
I don't know why I don't believe you.
You get to end the call and go eat some food. Me too.
That was me being sarcastic.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. She really got us. She really got us.
Harshness, right?
Y'all, she got us.
No, it's the truth, I promise.
No. Rookery was unfortunately retired from the Lightbringers podcast.
Yeah.
Let's check us out next week for our new guest, Tybalt, who's dead. Sorry, spoilers.
Let him rest.
Sorry, Kroof, tell us what you do.
Hi, what's that?
It.
I don't know. I'm just here.
Like
Is
the
that a
weapons
camera?
are.
Is that a camera?
Yeah.
I think this is a camera. So, y'all,
Yeah.
are you also into astrology? Because if so, what's up? Do I have an eye booger in my eye? Oh my god, I do. That's so embarrassing. Anyways, sometimes I like.
You do it.
I like to wear sparkly dresses. Do you know that meme? I hope you do.
Oh, if you got like a
Anyways, if you want
wooden
more,
roof for that,
if you want more, you can go over to my YouTube channel at Kroof, or also here on Twitch where I stream. Thank y'all so much, and I'll see you next time.
Oh, we may not have a podcast next week 'cause it's my birthday. So I may not.
You know what would
We may
be
not.
terrible?
Happy early birthday.
If you, happy early birthday.
On
When's your
Thursday.
birthday? You
It's on
said?
Thursday, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna.
What's the
No,
date?
wait.
You'd be
Is it on
hungover.
Thursday or Wednesday? Wait, let me double check.
If
on
it's
Wednesday.
on Wednesday, I don't know if you can say that Friday is your birthday, so you can't have a podcast.
No. Wednesday's my birthday, so I have Friday off as a day off, like generally, so I can go and do something. Not like
Okay.
I'm claiming it as my new birthday because I'd rather
It's your
be
birth
Friday.
week. You gotta
birth week,
celebrate your
that's
So
birth
I
week.
we might have if we have a podcast, we might just do a fun random playthrough or something, maybe like Night House or whatever.
Baldur's Gate, or I don't know.
It's a good game.
Oh,
It just got a patch 5.
It did.
Yeah, big
Winters.
patch. But you've got there's like
Every day
a
is my birthday. Let's go.
denouement now.
Oh yeah, that's
That's
true.
a great. That's
Your
a great
birthday
word.
is pretty close to my birthday, actually.
When is yours?
Doxing.
Next Monday.
What?
Oh, it's Monday coming.
Not this one, the one after. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why is Monday
Ooh,
coming?
maybe we should do like a double B-day. B-day.
A
Great
bit
idea.
today.
B-day.
A bidet, yeah.
Bidet.
Bidets are very good, by the way. Everybody should get a bidet. They're great.
Your dissertation on
I don't have
bidets needs to be
I know,
released to the
one.
public.
I've always wanted to try one.
I feel like every time I have to go to a place that doesn't have a bidet now, I feel like a barbarian.
I'm so
Like-
sorry that your butt has to be subjected to non-bidet bathrooms.
Yeah.
Boots.
That's
Do you
why
just
I carry
not buy
a ball.
toilet roll then? Like, I mean, you save money.
No, you keep if you are out and about, keep a water bottle on hand.
What, just with the squirty ends? With the squirty ends? Like, so you...
Yeah.
Hey,
Great. This was, you know
Uh,
what? Every
Boots.
single week brings a new surprise. I didn't
Boots.
think we'd end on
You
bidets
are-
tonight.
Well, we haven't ended yet. I haven't done my outro yet. It's all about bidets.
God. Check out my bidet channel. www.youtube.com/.
I want to be a
Boots
bidet
Bidets.
reviewer on YouTube. That's my career goal.
Bad bidets.
Is there a bidet viewer? Bidet
If
reviewer?
there isn't, I'm gonna be one.
I mean, there's definitely
There's
is.
gotta be.
Yeah,
There's
10 best
definitely
toilet
is, though.
bidet seats in
But please
2023.
please do your bidet-based outro.
Bidet to you all. It is me. Boots.
You don't want to search up bidets on YouTube. There's a guy on the toilet literally talking about
What?
it.
No, really?
Yeah, while he's doing it.
That's terrible.
I'm like,
Okay.
no, why is this a thing?
I am Boots. You can find me on YouTube at World of Enders. I've got a video coming out every 3 days for the next month, basically.
Mm.
At this point, yeah.
Ooh.
No.
It's been for the last 2 months now. It's for the next month as well.
Oh, wow.
I think my latest episode is coming out December 2nd, so I still got to do more because I think I'm only coming back from my road trip January 2nd. I'm only coming back January 6th, so I got to get some more done. Did you know that I'm second in North America on one of the on the Wizard's Tower Sky Scale?
No. Oh, that's
Ooh,
cool.
well done.
Congratulations.
Put it on your resume, my friend. I'll impress them. A little video.
Little video, yeah.
You can do digital things. Congratulations, Boots.
Sure.
We'll add that. I'll add that under your name and pronouns.
Please do.
Second in that adventure in the palace of wizards.
That's
Okay.
what I said.
Excellent.
Those are the words I used.
You
That's
are
exactly it.
word using.
Second in adventure in the palace.
Yes. I don't remember what you said. Okay. Everyone, thank you so much for watching this Guild Wars 2 podcast. This has been the Lightbringers. If you want to check us out on Spotify, you can do that by Googling us. Also, going on Spotify and typing out the Lightbringers. And there will be places
Oh, no.
where our faces will
Wait,
be. What?
Reader Geek, I think, made a joke, but I'm not sure.
I'm glad you're a number
Because
2. I mean, we were
about
talking about bidets
bidets,
and toilet
yeah.
areas, so... Aww.
Oh boy.
I mean,
All
there's
right.
there's some weight to you. Like, that's all compared to the number 1, right? Like, you want to be, you're just, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. That wasn't even my fault. That's Reader's fault. My mods definitely belong here. That's just...
Reader made a number 2 joke because of the bidet talk
pick me
and Kyle
up.
Boots is number
It
2
was
for
very
anybody who's
good.
listening. It's
Yeah.
good.
It's getting
Yeah, yeah,
weird.
yeah.
My friends are saying things. I don't want to happen. Can you please pick me
Friends?
up now?
Oh, he called. We're group's friends.
Oh, sorry.
And they weren't being sarcastic.
I feel so special. Oh, let me just wipe away my tears. Oh, it feels so good. Okay, everyone, thanks so much for watching. Twitch.tv/JebroUni every Friday, hopefully sometimes for the Lightbringers podcast. If you did check us out on live, check us out as well. YouTube, Spotify, all the things. This is we've got all the latest episodes are out on the Spotify and the YouTube. This one will be out soon. We'll see you next time on the Lightbringers podcast. Goodbye.
Ah.
Remember?